And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 240. So I hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, just in a little bit, after we have our guy bro conversation that you guys all just know and love, we're going to be having a fun discussion on Marvel and DC superhero movies that made more money than you remember. I feel like that would be a cool kind of topic for a discussion for a video. It's kind of like one of those YouTube videos you see, oh, this was better than you remember kind of thing. So I thought it was a cool little fun article on thedirect.com for the DC section on their website to just kind of go over it. So I feel like that'll be a cool thing for a video to take a trip down memory lane with some of these superhero movies that made a lot of money, but did they make profit? That's the key. I won't know, but I do know because I'm a freaking genius. I literally have a 200 IQ. But as you guys know, tomorrow we have the Cloud9 podcast around 7:30 p.m. PST. Then after that, me and Lunchbox Warren should have our show, depending on how I feel. I might be banging my wife after the show that I do with Chaz. If all things go according to plan, we'll have our show Thursday. But if we do not, then you will see us here obviously on Friday. So I want to have us get at least 2 comic book reviews out at least this week. So that's why I'm going to try and end the Cloud9 podcast around hour 20, hour 10, hour 30 minimum mark. That way I can just go and read the comic that we're going to review and then just go into the show. But Friday, I won't have that problem because the Cloud9 podcast is only supposed to be on Thursdays and Sundays. Then after that, Thursday, our show, like I just said. Saturday, I have a one-on-one with Miss Lenore, actually. We've been kind of planning it for some time, spitting some riz at her. She loves it so much because the older white ladies just love it when that happens, obviously. And then
she
on
couldn't come
Sunday,
up with an excuse?
no, women don't come up with excuses not to see me. It's not how it works. I am a top G riz master. And on Sunday, yeah, we have the Cloud9 podcast, and then we just start the week again, where we would be on the Monday show. Sorry. And now we're going to do intros really quickly. And then Lunchbox Warren wants to talk about when he finally has just seen Captain African American, or Captain EBT, Captain didn't stay there for his kids, Captain, food stamps, Captain Medicaid, all that stuff, All right, so we'll start with Great Poupée, who wasn't here on Monday because he left me for his wife. So how you doing, man?
True. Much better now. I need the time off. It was well spent. Good times indeed.
Mhm.
But yeah, things are looking up, man. It's halfway through a kind of tougher week. So hell yeah, I'm looking forward to the end of this week.
Awesome. So I take it work basically took you out back and started whipping you like mine did?
A little bit. Mine just metaphorically, but you got to look for a different job, MSK. It seems like they treat you real rough. But
Yeah.
It's okay.
yeah,
I'm supposed to cope
it's
with whatever
life,
life
man.
throws at me.
Hump day. It's almost over.
Yeah, I celebrate Hump Day by having sex with actual women.
Sure.
It sounded real believable, sir. Hey, it's Warren. How's it going, Lunchbox?
Hey.
Yeah, Lunchbox
Oh.
Warren, how you doing, man?
It's
How's your
going
week?
good. I'm getting used to this one job only schedule, and I'm starting to enjoy it.
Mhm.
And just been working there and working on my comic book. So I've been knocking out penciled pages. I got the first live draw stream on my YouTube. Will be coming up on this Sunday, so I'm getting excited for that. Be Sunday at 8 p.m. So Pacific Standard Time, and I will be going live on YouTube. Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah.
So I definitely want you guys to go and check out Lunchbox Warren when he does his first YouTube stream. I guess you could say back because he did it before.
Yeah, did it before, but now this will be episode 1 of
Doing the Marvel thing. No. God. You relaunched to a new number one. We're becoming slowly like them every week at this point. Oh my god. But yes, make sure you guys go and subscribe to Lunchbox Warren's YouTube channel. He'll be having streams on Sundays now, which is good because I can have something to basically listen to as I'm putting you on my second monitor to have something to basically entertain me as I'm watching League of Legends games or basketball games. And as you guys know, the NBA 2025 season is winding down. We're only just down to 4 teams, and after these finals play out between the Western and Eastern Conference finals, you will have just only 2 teams. So, but we can't talk about basketball here because these guys are literal losers and nerds, and they don't like basketball, especially Gray. He's not cultured like me. You know, I have to teach him the ways of being black. You know,
We
so
can't all appreciate the WNBA to the same degree that you do, sir.
if you know, I mean, Angel Reese. I know if you watch it for Angel Reese, you're watching for the wrong girl, Gray. What are you doing? But before we get into Lunchbox Warren talking about Captain America: Brave New World, Gray, did you see any blockbusters this past week?
Yeah. The Final Destination one. I dug
Okay.
it. It's exactly what you'd expect out of a Final Destination movie, but this time they set it up as a Space Needle type event. It's great.
Did
If
you like
you're
Mr. Tony Todd's last bit of words to the audience?
I didn't hate it. I got to be honest. It felt like they knew everyone involved. Felt like they knew his time was not long to be had with us. So felt like a good send off. It's kind of superfluous to the story. Didn't really progress it anywhere, but the setting led to some fun things going on. What can I say? It's exactly what you expect out of one of those. It's not the worst Final Destination movie.
Hell yeah. But I would just tell people if you've watched any of those movies, saying they're all the same is literally an understatement. It's
They're not all the same. Come on.
allegedly.
The first two are pretty amazing. The third one's all right. But
I think the third to the one before this one all blend together, or 4 to whatever which one was at. Like the mid 2000s one, those just blended in my brain together.
I can see
But
that. I can definitely understand your statement of that.
but I'm very very intelligent and I have a 200 IQ for a reason. So my brain expands
Sure.
on things. Um, what else ended up coming out this week? No, it was just Final Destination Bloodlines, right?
It was, yeah, I think that's about
I
the
think
only
that's
thing
just it.
big moved.
What is coming out this week? Did you see Fight or Flight with
I
not
did
James
not.
Marsden?
Oh, come on. Now I'm blanking on his name, but he's having a little bit of a revival.
I
Did
forget
MSK
people's
just
names,
say that
man.
he has an IQ of 2? It's heavily
Oh,
implied.
Josh Harnett, Flight or
Just
Flight, right?
Hartnett,
yeah,
man.
I
Oh,
knew it started with a
yes.
J.
Thank
I
you,
just
sir.
couldn't get it to it. You know,
I wanted to see that one. That one looked like one of those action comedies that was pretty good. But
this is not true. This is literally untrue. This is fake news that Dingus Den is saying. Honestly, uh, did you see The Accountant 2? I don't know if you saw the first one.
I'm
I
waiting for a
did.
video for that one.
I ended up seeing both of those. Uh, didn't hate it. It's not my favorite action movie of the year.
Okay. So what else is coming out this week? Coming out this week new is Lilo and Stitch. Yeah, and Mission Impossible: The
Indeed.
Final Reckoning. And this movie called The Last Rodeo is coming out. So we have
Yeah.
uh, it's one of those Western movies. I mean, or I'm not into Westerns as much as other people, but I I've seen all the Mission Impossible movies all the way up until Mission Impossible Fallout. I've seen the first 6. I haven't seen the Reckoning part 1 and 2. It's not that I wouldn't like to go back and revisit that universe and finish Mission Impossible 7 before Mission Impossible 8. But Mission Impossible Fallout was so good. Easily, I would say one of the best action movies ever made. Man, that movie is just so damn good. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was really, really good. I'm not the hugest fan of the first one as other people are. But
What?
it's definitely a different
If
style
there's
than
no
the other one.
Emilio, I say hell no. It's number one or nothing for me. Come on.
Really? That's
No,
crazy.
I tapped out at some point. I don't know which number, but
You didn't find the
come on,
first
man.
one
That
boring at all?
original one.
The first
The
one is kind of
original one is
boring.
awesome. You've got the elevator pokey in the eyes. You've got the hanging from a wire. You get the sweating. You gotta grab the drop before
The
the touch
50,000
sensitive.
twists.
Oh,
More
it's great,
twists.
man.
I love twists.
I like that. It's a lot more like the show.
Mhm,
They became a bit more stunt happy in the future. But
mhm,
what can you say? It's a fun franchise. I just kind of felt like it was a lot of the same, so I tapped out. I should
mhm.
probably go back and revisit it. I hear nothing but good things about the last few.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those franchises where it literally does get better with each. It's hard to say if one people that's the biggest debate is one or two for a lot of people. It's weird because I was told Mission Impossible 2 is like the worst one of the whole thing. I wouldn't really call it worst of anything. I think it's just I had a lot of fun with it. When I
Yeah,
watched it, I thought it was
it's the
very
most
fun.
different out of all of them.
Yeah, like 1 and 2 are definitely the most different. I think Mission Impossible 3 starts the style of the movies that people see now, but 1 and 2 definitely tried out some different styles before
Yeah.
they kind of settled on, okay, this is what we probably should do. Because J.J. Abrams directed the third one. That fucking hack of a man. Good lord, no one should be buying anything from that fucking loser. That guy, he did what? Lost. He did that Star Trek movie. He did fucking Force Awakens. What a resume that is, right, JJ? Fucking disgusting bastard. Took $200 million from a studio to produce DC content, only to like never produce anything. So just essentially the same value that my dad provided my life, honestly. All right, so Lunchbox Boring, you finally got a chance to see the 35th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Captain America: Brave New World. How was it? Did you find it to be kind of black? No, sorry, I had to do the joke.
It was okay. Um,
Did you
the action
hate
scene,
the
huh?
feeling after you watched it? Like you'd be like, I wasted my time, or you were just like, it was just really meh.
Yeah, it was just meh. I thought they could have done a lot more. It was way too much Incredible Hulk, not enough about Sam Wilson. I really think they need to start identifying why how different he is from Steve Rogers, and they're really not doing it. They're not doing him much justice. Um, the action scenes were good, but not Marvel's best. And all the way around, it's kind of like just a C, you know,
Yeah.
Can I ask
C
you one
minus.
thing?
Yeah,
Did you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier at all? The show that's in
yeah, I
between the.
watched all of that one.
Okay. I was just wondering because they kind of give why Sam Wilson is different in there. So I was just wondering if perhaps that has a little bit more of what you were
Well,
looking for.
I would have liked to seen it displayed more, him put into more situations. The It felt kind of like they were trying to do the like the Winter Soldier movie kind of feel with it, but it's just it wasn't. I don't know. It just wasn't. It was kind of mid all the way through. Like it never really committed enough. The they kind of spoiled the Red Hulk thing. The fighting was all right, but it's just I've been a big one that thought he should have got the the super soldier serum like he did in the comic books. Just seeing him without it, I don't know. He just doesn't. There's just not enough. They don't do enough to make him feel better than he should.
Yeah, because
You
I
know?
don't know if Sam Wilson, Captain America in the comic books that Marvel had for him when that first started with the all new, all different bullshit. I don't know if that version of Sam Wilson ever took Super Soldier Serum, but I think that's what would have separated him from comic books versus movies. Is I'll just tell people this right now. There's a reason why between both mediums, certain things can work and certain things can't work. Like if you're a moviegoer and you watch people take on super powered villains some of the times, if he himself takes like super soldier serum, you would kind of believe he could fight them more. And it also makes him a lot more, we'll say, dynamic as a character, but it offers a layer of maybe he views his super soldier serum different from Steve Rogers, just creating cool dynamics between the characters, right? But if he doesn't take it, it's just more like, all right, you know, because I think having the serum also makes Steve Rogers a more interesting character because obviously
Yeah.
him having the super soldier serum gives him the ability to do all these great and amazing feats and shit, you know?
Well, I kind of feel like, which I agree, but what I feel like the problem with Sam not taking it is that he's doing all the stuff Steve did, except he doesn't have the serum. Like the reason why Steve can throw the shield like he does is because of the serum. It's the serum with the heightened strength, reflexes, and with his mind. Sam doesn't have any of that, but yet he's throwing the shield around. He's doing the Captain America where he kicks the shield and puts his arm into the deal. I mean, he's doing all of this stuff like Captain, and his fighting style is different because he has the suit, a different suit, and along those lines. And there was good examples of him fighting without the wings, which was
Yeah.
good. I just don't think that they gave him a chance to really shine like they could have. And
Yeah, because
it's
when you
not his
watched it,
fault.
when you
It's
watched
the
it, did you
movie.
feel like Harrison Ford's character had a much better arc per se than even he did?
I felt it was the film was more about Harrison's character than
Yeah.
Captain America.
That's what I said. Remember, it feels
Yeah,
like a discarded Hulk. It feels like a discarded 2008 The Incredible Hulk movie sequel than an actual Captain America Civil War sequel.
yeah.
You know?
And it's something that I've noticed with Marvel since Endgame is they're trying to hit grand slams every single time, and it's like if you're going to do a Captain America Sam Wilson Captain America story, do a more cut down to the nose, just circling around Sam Wilson Captain America story. We not every movie that comes out and not every character that the Marvel has is a tent pole flagship character. These characters do better if you put them in scenarios that fit where they're at. And I would have loved to have seen Sam in more of a personal storyline than and introducing some Captain America villains, not a we're setting up the X-Men, we're setting up future Hulk stories, we're setting up all of this other stuff, and it's like nothing really for Sam. Like the villain didn't give a shit about Sam Wilson until halfway through the movie. Um,
Yeah.
the main villain of it, the
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 leader.
more character growth that we got to see
Yeah.
was in General Ross than we
Yeah.
did with Sam.
Yeah.
Sam was just kind of there in a lot of it with the
Or
plot
even
and
his
everything.
sidekick, the Mexican Taco Falcon dude. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he comes from Falcon and Winter Soldier, that
Hmm.
season 1 for the Disney Plus MCU show, but it's like, oh, okay, he's just Falcon now. Like we didn't really get a chance to see like, him donning the costume and flying with Sam to see how it was for the first time. Just no actual like development. Like when oh gosh, like what Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania. Like they were developing that story arc of like Judy Greer's character kind of like going from hating a deadbeat dad to kind of loving the hero that he became. And then they don't even pay it off in the third movie because she's just not in it. And it's like you just destroyed a character arc you were building up. And then
Yeah.
you have situations like that one in Captain America Brave New World where they show you a character in a TV show, but then they don't give you that payoff of seeing him actually kind of become a hero. Like you don't ever see him like you see him don the that Falcon suit, but it's like, what was his first time when he did it? What was their first mission? It's like I want to know that stuff so I kind of like feel more into the
Yeah.
character, like those moments where in the MCU, in the previous ones, when Ant-Man put on a suit the first time, when Doctor Strange became Doctor Strange, those are important moments for someone to kind of connect to the character, And I feel like with these later MCU movies, you don't really get that with a lot of them. They just kind of just speed run and rush past it.
And I think that they should have leaned in. If you remember right, when they introduced Sam in Winter Soldier, he had lost Riley, his wingman,
Mhm.
and when he was telling Cap about it, and that was a big important part of his backstory. We should have been seeing more of that with his interactions with the new Falcon. We should have seen. That's why I would have liked to see a little bit more of a personal story instead of this whole another kind of world situation where no one
Yeah.
else in the world
Hmm.
shows up.
Yeah.
There's no there's no Bruce Banner. There's no
Hmm.
there's no one else around. None of the other potential Avengers or storyline that comes into this. I mean, uh, there. Why wasn't Bucky of more like? I understand that he's trying to be a senator, but I don't like that whole pathway. I would have much rather seen him teaming up with Falcon again because I thought the best
They
thing of
had
the
better
TV
chemistry.
series was their chemistry.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
don't get me
had
wrong.
better chemistry than the
Yeah,
new guy does.
I
They
like the
have
new
it.
guy. I like him, but he's not. It's not. He's not terrible. But
Yeah.
there's no chemistry between him and Sam in their characters. There's not really any chemistry, and I don't think that he really. There should have been more of like, I've already had a partner. They died. I had another partner, and he
Mm.
grew 100 years old overnight, and he's gone now. Now it's on me, and I don't want anyone else to get hurt. That stuff wasn't. It was talked about when he was up by him at the hospital bed at the end of the movie, kind
Yeah.
of, but it wasn't really shown as well as it could have been.
Yeah, that's the problem with Brave New World as a whole is that there's a lot of kind of cool sort of ideas that they could have had to make it a pretty good movie overall. There's like seeds in there that could have been a pretty good like action movie for the MCU, not on the level like Winter Soldier or First Avenger or Civil War, the previous three, but I do kind of want to see what was the original movie that they did that they had to basically scrap like 3 or 4 different times before they had to come up with
Yeah,
this version
well,
because this
yeah,
version feels like it's just a stitched up version of like everyone's ideas versus like one person's singular idea. I'd much rather have someone's singular idea for a movie versus like a stitched up four kind of story arc. Like it felt like four different stories going on. You had Sam's shit, then you had Harris fucking General Ross's shit, then you had the shit going on with like the stuff with the oh fucking hell, the statue from Eternals. That has a plot line with the international nations. Then you also had the plot going from kind of like a Winter Soldier feeling to like a Captain America Civil War feeling, where it goes from being kind of solo, kind of espionage to now it's just open world and we're gonna just battle everyone. And it's like, what the fuck? Then
yeah,
you take Hulk, the Incredible Hulk movie kind of plot, make it a sequel in this, but it's just Captain America that's not Captain America. It feels weird. It just feels like a Captain America movie without Captain America, without Hulk, and it's not a Hulk sequel. It's such a weird movie because, like, the other thing you brought up, which is the whole leader aspect, you can tell they had mega reshoots. When he's talking to the leader at the end of the movie, when leader just gives himself up, obvious green screen. He's obviously not there
yeah.
before Red Hulk started poking out. You know what's an interesting thing in this movie? There's one scene in Brave New World that a lot of people had pointed out, and it's the one that I agree with too. When he's kind of hulking out on that submarine ship when they're having that battle to stop that missile from hitting Japan or whatever was that in that nation conflict or whatever. That's how you create stakes. Oh, he's in this confined area. If he hulks out, all these people could die. That's that right there. They need to go back to that. You need to create meaningful tension, even if we know they're going to survive. And that can be talked about in its own separate way. Because when he's just hulking out at the very end of the movie, you're like, okay, well, Sam's gonna beat him by bullshitting him by just saying, hey man, you're a good guy. And that's what they did. They brought in like who they bring in? Like Betty or some shit. I don't even think Betty was there, honestly. That definitely looked like CGI. It didn't look like that actual actress was there,
I
you
was
know?
wondering if they face swapped her. The voice sounded
I
good, but I didn't know if that was actually her or not.
Yeah.
think they did. During the original trailer, or at least the original stills that we got, she was at the tomb site. So it appeared that they had killed Ross at some point, and then she was at the
Oh,
funeral. So it's theorized that she was kind of taken from that scene and put into the cell at the end.
Oh, and another thing to bring up, the suit. So this version of Captain America is very not good. I liked that suit he had. It's actually pretty comic book accurate. So probably one of the most accurate looking suits they've done in one of these movies. His suit looks really, really good. I like it. Then they traded it for that terrible, ugly looking blue suit. And then in the movie, and usually with superhero
Wakanda
movies,
made it.
that's the thing, because like usually in superhero movies, from all the ones that I've seen a lot of them. You get a different suit for upgrades and various reasons, like the famous ones, the Batman Begins to Dark Knight, where you can turn your neck, just like that, a simple little upgrade. When he's like, "Hey, I'm taking this suit," why did he take the blue suit? The fucking white one looks better, and it was doing just fine. He'd been using that forever.
Yeah,
I
it
I, I
almost
don't get
felt
it.
like it felt like in remember in Winter Soldier when he was wearing essentially the Shield Captain
Yeah.
America outfit,
Mhm.
and then right before he goes for the final fight, he's like, "You got to have a suit," and he goes and grabs the one from the first Avenger.
Yeah.
Kind of felt like they were doing that,
Mhm.
but there was no reason why. Like,
Mhm.
yes, the other suit had a blade cut in the chest area, but that's would be the only reason why. Like, there was a reason why Captain America switched suits. One is he didn't have a suit, and two, that suit was the last thing
Yeah.
Bucky would have seen of him. So being more
Or with Iron
nostalgic,
Man. Iron
yeah,
Man had
may have,
different suits for different various reasons. Like the one that
yeah,
we saw in Avengers was it could come out faster, it come out from a watch, it's more efficient, stuff like that. And you don't have to have that told to you. You can see it from how it's enacted in the
yeah.
scenes afterwards. That part, oh, I just need to grab this blue one. Why? It literally, and if that was the case, or just this one looks better, or it has better upgrades. Why not just take the upgrades that blue one had and apply them to the better looking suit? I That's still the most mind boggling scene in the entire movie. Why did he change his suit? It actually is just so stupid. I just
And
I
don't know
understand it.
why.
You don't understand costume changes, MSK.
God,
It's the final act of the movie. You gotta have a different suit. Come on.
that suit looks worse than the one he had on previously. That dark shade of blue is ugly. It's
like
just
it would have
bad.
been, you could do like a 2 minute cameo where one of the chicks shows up from Wakanda and says, "Here's your new suit, Sam."
That could have been
And
cool.
then it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, now it's kind of this upgraded version, and then they give the Falcon, like, well, he was out, which I don't. Another thing, like, you, the last battle should have been the submarine battle. Like, he should have turned there, and then he had to have that, like, he just comes out on the deck of the carrier, starts going nuts, and then Sam stops him essentially between him and the Japanese and the American armies, and then they all work together and kind of quell Ross down, and then peace is in the land. Like, the whole stopping the potential war and then doing the press conference really felt disjointed. It was kind of a weird ending. It's like the
Got a
the
feeling that
battle.
might have been the one of the original endings, like you're saying.
Yeah, like, yeah, I think that he should have turned in that summary. That would have been a much better ending, I think, having him fight out there amongst everyone. Like, the Japanese and the Americans both are shooting at the Red Hulk while Sam is trying to stop him and also stop everybody else. I think that would have been more interesting than what we got, though, because it was just kind of like, again, it was the main character of Brave New World seemed to be General Ross and not Sam Wilson. Like, Sam was just there because they needed someone to be the go in between for exposition. Like, I don't, even the leader didn't give a shit about Captain America. He was just like, I want Ross. And then he was trying to ruin Ross's legacy by creating World War III. And then when that didn't work out, he just, I guess, triggered Ross to turn into the Red Hulk
Yeah,
at
remember
the
the
press
explanation
number
he
thing.
gave?
Yeah.
It's weird because with a lot of these Phase 4, Phase 5 MCU movies, keep in mind, the MCU has never been known for having good villains anyway, pre any of this nonsense they're in right now. Whenever the villain explains how it became what it is, he even said, "Hey, when I got to the position of president that I got into, that he helped me get into, but the deal was that I was supposed to let him out. I didn't." And it's like, well, that would answer your question. Like, that's why he's angry. He felt like he got sidelined by you. He said in the movie that he had a leader help him become president, and then the leader got mad that he didn't get out of fucking prison. Well, why do you think he'd be mad? It's fucking common sense. Like, so is he in the right then? Because you are the one who screwed him. Like, am I supposed to feel bad for him? Like, that's the problem with their movies. The same thing happened with Gore too. It's like, well, when Thor went and visited the gods, they're like, the gods kind of proved why Gore would kill them. Not saying it's justifiably morally right, but the plot is like telling you that the villain is right, even though the plot should be telling you the villain is wrong. Like, what in the world goes on with their movies? And I feel like with Brave New World, it just felt like an expositional dump most of the time. They're just kind of talking and talking and talking. It felt like they were playing things so safe. They never took any risks, and it was just talk and talk. And I felt like Giancarlo Esposito's character felt like what Bucky was doing in Winter Soldier, except way more ghetto and way more telegraphed. Like, you knew when he was in that car scene, he was behind him because we've seen the Winter Soldier. It felt like they were trying to mix Winter Soldier with the Incredible Hulk, and it was just both plots at the same time. And it's like, that can't work. That's too. One's an action adventure movie, the other one's a spy thriller. That cannot work, really, honestly.
And talk about completely underutilizing a great actor is him in that.
Yeah.
Completely
was
underutilized.
Mm-hmm.
Last minute addition. He wasn't in a bunch of different versions. They had who was it? Was it Seth Rollins? They had a couple of different wrestlers in his like the Serpent Society, and then all of a sudden they're just cut out completely. And instead we've got Giancarlo Esposito as Sidewinder.
Well, I forgot that all this stuff had happened with the movie, and that really does explain why the film really doesn't go in any direction, because it feels like I think you said it earlier, MSK, the whole film feels like they were just trying to make a bunch of people in charge happy, and then you end up with no actual real vision to the film. It just turns into kind of like this,
Yeah.
because there's good parts of it.
Because there's genuinely, if I feel like the genuine good parts, if they made a movie out of that kind of concept, you probably would have had a pretty good movie here. Despite all of us pretty much going like, this can't work. Well, we thought it couldn't work because of all the stuff we heard about it. But the good stuff in the movie, imagine a world where that stuff is kind of enacted, and that's the movie. That would have been I'll say right now, that probably could have maybe sort of been a good movie. But it got to this point where you had the Incredible Hulk meets Winter Soldier meets like fucking you had those two together as a whole movie, and it just kind of felt like no risks are being taken, too much expositional dump. I don't really feel like Anthony Mackie can kind of lead as Captain America the same way Chris Evans can. It never really felt like he could. It feels just so forced. Even though his character was bad in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I feel like he was a better lead in that. I don't know why in the movie he couldn't kind of hold the same thing. Maybe he's just a better TV actor than a movie actor. That can be the thing, potentially, But also Bucky, just a 5-second Bucky cameo. Why couldn't Bucky just been in the movie? It wouldn't have changed anything, but it would have been at least better chemistry.
In the TV show, he was given a character arc. He gives up the shield because he doesn't feel worthy, and then he has to get the shield back. Then he has to come in terms with the situation. Then he has to become Captain America. Even though it wasn't the best writing in that show, and there wasn't really a defined villain, which kind of hurt the overall show as a whole, he had an arc. Bucky even had an arc in that.
That's why I say that's the best show.
Yeah.
Even though the villains are bad and the motivations for Falcon are all fucked up with siding with terrorists, the reason why I always say that's the best show is it has an arc. It came up with John Walker. I mean, that should just say anything in of itself. That show also generates the most conversation. Anytime I hear like podcasts about doing this stuff, that show generates the most conversation. Maybe beside like WandaVision does too, and like Loki to some degree. Dingus Loki. Oh,
no.
That first
Dingus has a point. Other than Wanda and Agatha, Loki is the best. So
Loki season 1 is terrible. I'd rather watch dog shit.
I disagree. That one is good.
What? Oh no! We have a nerd war. It's time for them fighting words. Oh my god. Oh,
ding, 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 ding.
They're doing crack!
That Loki show, you mean season 1? That is one of the most, okay. For me, outside of that one and, well, probably She-Hulk.
Dude,
he's the most
aesthetically, so good though. Like they really have like a
There's nothing
cohesive
memorable about
vision
it
of how it
though,
looks.
other than King. And
There's
that
so much memorable about it. That's where we've got timelines. That's where we've got the TVA. That's where we've got so much shit that then moved
okay.
into it. What do you get out of say Hawkeye? Come on.
You got Florence Pugh and Kate Bishop having lesbian tension. They
Is
had
that what you
lesbian
call
tension. Oh no,
Okay, tell me
Hawkeye,
one thing that came out of that show.
Florence Pugh. Make sure that I will never eat macaroni and cheese ever again. She had macaroni and cheese.
She doesn't come out of that show. She was just in there for a minute. Brief cameo.
Remember? Remember the scene where she's talking to Haley Steinfeld's character, Kate Bishop, and she was eating macaroni and cheese with hot sauce? First of all, macaroni and cheese is disgusting in of itself. That shit's trash. Who eats
What?
macaroni and cheese with hot sauce? You sick?
Dude.
Her breath must stink after that. Whoever kissed her. Fuck.
Wait. You are actually a human being, supposedly a human being against mac and cheese?
Yeah, mac and cheese is disgusting.
I mean,
Shit.
I understand why you don't like macaroni in a pot, but come on, dude.
She had,
Like
no, it was in a
macaroni and
pot.
cheese?
She had macaroni in a pot in the show, and she dipped that
I
hot
understand
sauce
you
starts
wouldn't
with a
get it.
Gray, there's no cinematic expositional greatness of a bitch dumping hot sauce on macaroni and cheese. That's
Is
just
she? I would want her to make that for me, and we would
Yeah.
enjoy it together
Her
in
breath.
bed after we made sweet
her
love.
breath would kill you. Macaroni and cheese is already
Worth the
iffy.
risk. I love that woman.
Macaroni and cheese is hot. Ugh. It was that hot
Dude.
sauce that starts with the letter F that you guys see in the supermarkets. Ugh, that bitch's breath stinks.
F?
I think it's like cholesterol.
Frank's
or
Red
shit.
Hot?
It was. Yeah, it was Frank's Red Hots. Yep, it was that one.
Frank's Red Hot's not bad. I prefer Tapatio.
It's really
though.
not bad.
Or
Valentina
it was the one you just
Tapatio,
said?
any day.
It was the one you
Mhm.
just said, or was the F one? She had one of them hot sauces on What Marvel producer let a woman make mac and cheese and put hot sauce in it, then eat it in front of someone?
Hey,
and
I
then
thought
she
you
can
knew
talk next to
struggle
them?
meals, man. So what's your struggle meal? Is it
Chicken
just Little
sweet.
Caesars?
No, we saw her. Wait, do we ever see her in an apartment in Thunderbolts? No, we didn't see that. But she has. I would assume she has money. Did Valentina pay her? Oh fuck, that bitch got taken for a ride.
In Thunderbolts, it shows that she is behind on her payments, I believe.
Of course, because
But
slice of life shit.
yeah, I can't get over this, man. You seriously, you can't understand hot sauce on mac and cheese? Like
Disgusting.
it's amazing.
Hot sauce.
Dude, anything. Yeah.
Are you guys the hot
and
sauce enthusiasts here? Hot sauce on everything. Oh my
I
god.
am.
What?
I love hot sauce, man. I can't get enough of it. Peppers are amazing.
So okay,
I
dude,
prefer more flavor than heat, but I do
Okay.
like decent little heat to it.
so like if you had if your wife, if she had macaroni and cheese and hot sauce for dinner and she ate that and breathed next to you and spoke next to you, you would find that fine?
Yeah, what do you have against macaroni? Like, I've never heard the stereotype of macaroni and cheese breath. Why do you think that would be especially bad? And then hot sauce.
Well,
I put
I've
hot
had-
sauce on like everything, man. And not only that, I'm constantly drinking coffee. Dude, you never want to talk to me directly.
God, macaroni and cheese is disgusting. I don't know how you guys like it. It's gross.
It's an
Unless I
enriched
just-
macaroni product with fake cheese sauce on there. It's great.
Yeah,
Ugh.
It's
better
Canadian dinner,
homemade,
dude.
But it's great if it's in a box too.
I mean, growing
Cut up
up,
some
my
hot dogs in
brother
there.
would eat the little cup ones from the store called
Mhm.
Easy Max or whatever. Ugh. Ugh.
When we got real fancy back
Wait.
when I was growing up poor.
I'd rather
we would
eat
cut up
shit
hot
than that.
dogs and put it in there. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's a struggle meal, man.
Oh,
It's great.
no. I am black and I see DK. That shit is garbage. This macaroni and cheese is one of the most overrated dishes ever. I'd rather eat spaghetti. The twisty ones. I like those. Those are fine.
The twisty
like-
ones?
Yeah.
twist
So like,
blood.
Spaghetti don't
Crap.
come twisty,
so in
motherfucker.
California, some of the pasta, the macaroni ones will look like those flavored, the honey
You mean like
barbecue
corkscrew?
flavored Fritos. Yeah, they look like that. Those are
Yeah.
okay.
The rotini.
Or the bow ties. I like the only ones I ever liked were those kinda. Maybe
Farfalle?
Yeah, the bow tie ones. Yeah.
You
Those
like
yeah,
your
for
own
fall,
pie
though.
with your spaghetti? You don't like spaghetti
It
noodles?
depends. Like I'm really not a noodle guy, but I had that before and I did think it was that bad. But Like, I'd rather eat spaghetti. If I was in a jigsaw trap and he said eat macaroni and cheese or eat spaghetti, I don't like either. I think both are pretty much disgusting. I'll eat spaghetti.
Huh?
I'd rather eat
Because
spaghetti and meatballs.
rumor has it you are a noodle man. That's
You know,
weird.
I love eating the meatballs. I love getting them all down my throat, Gray, because obviously I'm fucking homosexual. No, Gray, I'm joking. But Jesus Christ. Um,
Hmm.
yeah,
What they
I
say,
think it's
there's
disgusting.
always truth in jokes.
I actually think macaroni and cheese tastes like literal shit, honestly.
Well, I mean, I do understand that you do enjoy corpophagia, but I don't know, man.
You literally like
How can
hot sauce on your macaroni and cheese. How does that
yes,
work?
both are delicious. Put together,
So
it's
you
pretty
guys
good. It's not generally how I would eat it, but
so you're
I
Yelena
don't knock
enthusiast?
it, man.
Man, God, if a girl eats that in front of me and she breathes next to me, I'm punching her.
But
Bitch is going straight to the
but
floor.
didn't you say something about like Easy Mac? You understand
What
that Easy Mac is like the worst of all Macs, right? Like it is like the bottom tier.
I was already checked
It's the
out.
kind that you can put in the microwave.
No,
It
that no, yep,
sucks.
yep. So I never ate
Yeah,
that
no,
one. My
that's what I'm
brother
saying. It
did.
it
That's a
sucks
James thing.
because
Yeah, yeah.
that's it, man. Just
No,
real Mac. You gotta
no.
have macaroni in a pot.
My mom tried doing it. I ate a few. I ate some. I couldn't do it. It just I was barfed eating it. I've tried doing it like barbecues. It just I can't. Oh God, fuck
Okay,
no.
well,
I'd rather die than
where do
eat
you
that.
stand on Hamburger Helper?
I think the more when I was really young, I didn't like it, but certain types of hamburger helper, I'm good with. Just depends on which ones.
So what the fuck, man? You love nachos at the movie theater, but you hate mac and cheese. What is wrong with you?
No, I'm just not into eating popcorn at the movie theater anymore. I'd rather eat chili cheese nachos.
Constant disappointment.
What? I'm just saying though, if me and Florence Pugh had sex and she ate that before sex, we're not.
Also a
That bitch's
disappointment.
breath. She would imagine her tongue in your mouth and she had that nasty shit.
I love it.
Yeah,
I hate
man.
you guys.
It would be
You guys
even
have no
better.
standards.
No,
Desperation
the
is
standards is
taken away
Mac
by-
is good.
Hashtag macaroni and cheese lives matters. God, no. I'd rather have nacho cheese than popcorn. I feel like it fulfills me better when I'm watching a movie. Like popcorn's not bad. I like
What are
popcorn.
you using it as? How are you enjoying your movie?
Are you fucking with me?
Yes, they only give you enough nacho cheese for like 3 of the chips. And you're just eating
Yeah.
shitty tortilla chips with
No, that's what you ask for, extra cheese. I'll ask for extra cheese and extra chili. Just saying, you know?
It's not even chili. It's just like chili sauce that doesn't even
That's
have
fine.
any hamburger in it. It's like,
I mean,
MSK, the chat kind of brings up a good point. What's your favorite type of Lunchable?
The pizza one, and I like the ones where you have the ham and turkey. You can make the stack with the cheese. Those are cool.
For
Wait,
sure,
what
you were gonna say the nacho one, but
No,
okay,
no,
fair enough.
no. The sauce, that salsa that's in the Lunchable one, that smells like shit. Just the smell alone, I couldn't even put my tongue into it.
Are you lactose intolerant? Is that what's going on here?
No.
Are you
No.
fake cheese intolerant?
No, I love cheese. Maybe that's why I sneeze so much because I've had too much cheese in my life. But yep, sex with girls was great when we didn't have them eat macaroni and cheese.
What? I really don't understand, man. Wow. I didn't think that mac and cheese would be so off-putting to you. But
That's just gross.
okay,
I like how I
where
went
do you
from
stand
Brave
on?
New World to macaroni and cheese is overrated for a conversation.
Okay,
what
about
life?
mac salad?
No,
So-
no salad. Ugh, no, fuck no. I'd rather eat
No.
shit than eat salad.
So
macaroni
I
noodles.
don't know if you
like your
know what
kryptonite?
macaroni salad is.
Sounds like shit.
There's no lettuce involved. It's kind of like a sweet version of kind of macaroni.
It's like if you
Sometimes
were to
there's like
tell me-
ham in it and stuff.
It's like if you were to tell me, would you rather have potato salad or potatoes? I'd rather just have mashed potatoes. Potato salad tastes like shit too.
It
So
sounds
that's
like you
man-
had some terrible experience with a macaroni noodle, and now
Yeah.
like, you don't. You're now you just like if I poured a circle of macaroni noodles around me, you wouldn't be
So
able to come
at the
after me.
barbecue, whenever someone's like, "You want macaroni?" No, that is you can have it. Person's like, "Can I have extra?" You can take all the extra you want because
Oh,
I will
my
never.
father was killed by a macaroni noodle.
What the fuck? Maybe when I do a comic book, Mac Man. That's the superhero name. Oh God.
Well,
We'll. Oh goodness gracious. What happened, Gray?
I was gonna say, wouldn't you be anti-Mac man? Because it works on a couple of different levels. First off, you hate Mac of all kinds, and then
I had.
second
What are
of
you talking
all,
about? I had baked chicken
bottom
tonight.
G.
Yeah, I bought baked chicken tonight. It was something quick from the store that I could eat. I bought ribs, but when I went to get groceries, usually the ribs are all slathered in barbecue. They haven't been slathering them in barbecue sauce, so I went and bought a bottle of barbecue sauce so I could slather it in because I can't really eat ribs without barbecue sauce because it's just too dry, So I'll make sure there's extra
It
barbecue sauce
shouldn't
when I
be.
eat the ribs. You
They
know,
should be
they
succulent.
they
Come
right.
on.
Like they used to put barbecue sauce and heat it. Oh my god, it's like having sex with a girl. It's just so damn good. But like now it's just no barbecue sauce, and it's like, what the fuck? How are you gonna do ribs without barbecue sauce? That's like doing ham and no burger. God damn. Lunchbox Warren just feels so
Ham
dead
and no
inside.
burger?
It's a Friday
What is
joke.
the Okay. Okay.
You're not Gray, you're not black. It's okay not to know the jokes. It's so fine. It's fine.
Uh,
All
Happy
right.
Friday.
So
I guess I should know that joke, but fair enough.
let's have some fun with this fun little Arctic Hull for a video before Warren has to dip out in about 35 minutes actually. Damn, sure love eating out vaginas. Hey everyone, I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, coming at you guys today with another video. And if you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about Marvel and DC superhero movies that made more money at the box office than you remember. So, superhero movies have had various highs and lows at the worldwide box office. And depending on if you want to actually do the whole inflation argument with their box office totals, some made a lot more than what the overall total number shows, and then some made less than what their total number shows. Usually, since I really don't do the whole inflation argument because I'm not like that deep into doing that, calculating each year's inflation for the box office, I just take the numbers as what they are. But you guys must remember when it comes to movie conversations, you have to factor in, the movie's overall budget plus the marketing attached to it. Marketing budgets have always been attached to movies. We just only kind of know of them more now, because we have more information now. But I thought this was a fun article to go over because this is kind of like one of those ideas that people have for YouTube videos where it's like this animated series or this movie or this thing is better than you remember kind of thing. So it was on the direct.com and they have a DC and Marvel and Star Wars section on their website. And I saw this on Twitter and I was like, that'd be kind of cool for a video to be like, wow, that awful fucking movie made that much money. And you guys are into superhero movies, so I thought it'd be kind of a cool conversation. So we'll start it here. 10 Marvel and DC superhero movies that made more money at the box office than you remember. Many comic book movies hated by fans were some of the biggest box office successes. All right, so let's go over some of them. So,
Morbius?
yeah, that would qualify as one of the worst, honestly. I'm not joking. That would qualify as literally one of, if not the worst. That wasn't a success in any way, shape, or capacity, Gray, because they chose to re-release it and it bombed twice. So,
I think that
What if
this
they did it a
article
third time though?
that's
this
gonna bomb even
article is
harder.
essentially evidence. I think it was Laps that was talking about it, especially when we talk about the good faith. Like there
Yeah,
was some bad movies, like the first Suicide Squad movie. I think
which was
cleared $1 billion.
unbelievably bad. Yeah,
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 it almost cleared $1 billion, if not cleared it. And it was
right.
that good faith is what people got in to watch it, and it was just a bad movie that eventually people were just like, we don't want to watch any more of this.
Right.
But it was still able to pull out $1 billion.
I don't think it was
before
good
that.
faith when people say that for Suicide Squad 2016. What I think It was in what Michael Bay had for the Transformer movies, right place at the right time. At that current moment in time, the superhero craze was, in my opinion, at its peak as far as like interests, and that people were going to just go to the box office and pay for the movie tickets at a exuberant high rate, to the point where like really horrible movies like that would come out and it would do well simply based off the fact that it's in that hype phase, right? Because remember, when that movie came out, that's the third one. And basically, that was, in my opinion, the third nail in the coffin for where people thought the DCEU was headed.
Yeah.
So I don't disagree, but I also feel like it was only gonna do that well based off the kind of time period that we were in back then, rather than the
Well, no,
actual,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, good faith is not the right. It's the hype phase.
right.
You're definitely right. Yeah, superhero movies were so hyped that you can make almost $800 million by just making a superhero movie.
It could have
It's
legit made a Booster Gold movie, and that shit would
yeah,
probably pull in like $600
it
million
doesn't have
dollars.
to be good,
Yeah.
but it will. But yeah, the hype was so big that people were just watching everything.
Yeah, because
But
remember,
yeah,
at that moment in time, Marvel was getting into Civil War, Homecoming. DC was
yeah.
just building its. They never really built anything with that, but they were attempting to try to build something. In the age of cinematic universes, many film fans would be shocked to remember how much money some truly awful superhero films made at the box office. During the 2010s, Disney's 2009 purchase of Marvel Studios paid dividends, producing the greatest collective franchise in Hollywood history. Warner Brothers tried its super variation, the DCEU, which attempted to catch up with the MCU, leaving many comic fans disappointed. Yep, instead of just kind of building things slowly, DC went, you know what? We'll just kind of really fast track the whole universe. No actual pace, no actual plan. To be fair, I'll plan, as I just said, there's a double-edged sword. They had a plan. They just kind of upended the plan when the movies didn't really perform, let's say, not critically. It would be like box office wise, you could debate if they were profitable, but in terms of like actual reception, that's where the problems came through. The reception of these movies were really bad. Just with the first three DCU ones, Man of Steel, divisive. That's the best way to really point it out, because there are some hardcore Man of Steel fans out there and they feel that absolutely hate it. So that one's divisive. That one's 50-50. BVS, in my opinion, is more hated than loved. That movie's actual trash. And Suicide Squad 2016, I debate not even calling that trash. That's more like the shit I took last week, honestly. You know? So it's hard to say if DC really ever tried, but they did try to basically kind of cheat their way to the top, and it showed. In hindsight, it's easy to think every DCEU movie was a flop and all of the MCU movies made money because fans love them. However, when looking back at the box office history, neither of those thoughts is entirely accurate. While not every film on this list is loathed universally, each DC or MCU movie has a surprising story behind its box office success. Number 10, wait, that is definitely my wife. She's a 10. I'm joking. Good lord. 10 superhero movies that made it big at the box office. Suicide Squad from 2016 made $749.2 million dollars. A movie that had a completely different trailer from the ones that you guys have seen, because I remember when this was first announced and the trailer looked pretty good, honestly, based off of kind of like what the
Well,
feeling was going for.
so good that the company that did the trailer got to do an entire different cut of the movie. So it must
Yeah.
have been a good trailer.
So David Ayer directed that one movie you guys know him for. Oh, I can't remember the damn name of it, but
The
he,
Beekeeper?
I think it was Fighting Training Day or something like that. Whatever it fucking was, honestly. David Ayer's been
It's
trying to
not
get his
Training Day.
cut of this movie
I think
out for
Fury.
quite some time. Yeah. So David Ayer has been trying to get his cut of the movie out, very similar to Zack Snyder's Justice League. And this is a movie where it only did well for various reasons. One, if you actually look at the actual movie, the movie has Joker and Harley Quinn, literally two of Batman's biggest like adversaries. Joker alone probably is what pulled most people in, for being completely honest here, because later on the Joker DC Black label kind of movie came out with Joaquin Phoenix. Joker himself is a box office draw at that time. He was. I would argue Joker alone is what pulled people in, but then you add in Harley Quinn, you add in Deadshot. Deadshot was race swapped and played by Will Smith. Will Smith also a big draw. So you got Joker, Batman's biggest adversary. Then you also add in Will Smith. It was gonna do well, also based on the fact that you were in that hype phase at the moment in time. But this movie is an actual steaming pile of dog. This is one of the worst super movies I've ever seen. It's terrible. horrible. The fact that it made this much money just goes to show you how much like faith people had in DC, where they were just trying to try out anything. They're like, please,
Yeah, I
as
did
DC
not.
fans, let be as good as Marvel. Because every single time you watch an MCU movie, you were like, damn, I wish DC could be this good. And then you saw this and you were like, man, I lost faith in humanity watching this pile of shit.
I had no clue that it made 750 million or just under 750. Man, do you know the budget on this and then the advertising budget? I
Uh,
feel like they had commercials
let's see.
everywhere, if I remember right
Yeah,
back in
remember
the
the
day.
Harlem Man? Like I remember that. Yeah, and keep
Hmm.
in mind, DC, the criticism was basically, oh well, their movies are all just kind of dreary, kind of funerals. Um,
They made
so
it colorful. It
yeah, so
it was
the
popping
response
off the
was,
screen.
yeah,
Well,
based off of the
this
yes
film had
response. Yeah.
massive reshoots too. This one,
Oh
Yeah.
I
yeah,
wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised if the budget was
The
3 to 4 million.
before marketing was 175 before marketing.
I imagine. Oh yeah, so yeah, 3 to 4 million, 400 million after
Yeah,
marketing. Um, I remember when this one was coming out, they were pushing big, showing the clips with Batman in it.
yeah, yeah.
The
The
buzz
marketing went
behind.
crazy for this
Oh yeah,
movie.
and then the
Because keep in
buzz
mind,
behind
the
Jared Leto
BVS
as
response
Joker.
was these movies are all too like not it wasn't serious. It was the fact that people thought they were too serious, but then this one went like too jokey, and it's like, well, you can't do that because then not every DC character can have every single type of feeling. It has to be its own unique one to said character. Many call David Ayer's Suicide Squad an abomination of filmmaking, and I will be fair to him. This is not what he wanted to put out. I will be fair to him with that. This is literally studio interference at like its highest, based off a response from another movie from a different director from which was BVS with Zack Snyder. It features the infamous damaged Joker, played by Jared Leto. Besides the money in Warner Brothers' pocket, the greatest positive of this film was Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, who made two other DCEU appearances. Even in this one, her only actual good appearance was James Gunn's Suicide Squad. This one, you're just like, oh, I mean, this had an impact on people. People actually liked their relationship from this movie, from what I remember. And I was like, why do you guys think this is good? That's a horrible relationship. He treats her like shit, honestly.
Who liked her from that? And hey, Syfax, what's up, man?
You should have
Um,
been in
Hey,
my
it's all
area.
facts.
yeah, I don't know, man. I can't think of anybody that actually liked their
You guys should have.
relationship.
Oh God,
People
man.
were intrigued by like, oh, Jared Leto's doing a weird tattooed version of
Oh,
Joker,
that
but
was
I don't know
god awful.
anybody
Remember
that
that?
liked it.
That was
Yeah.
terrible. He is just the worst.
Well, and to be fair, they filmed hours or like an hour worth of his stuff that was all taken out of the movie.
Good,
There
good,
was one ending. There was a different
awesome.
ending on the film that had more that involved the Joker more. The Joker honestly should have been the villain of the whole movie.
Yeah, the same way they
That
did
would
with
have
the
made
Assault on
much more
Arkham
sense.
animated movie, where he's kind of
Yeah.
like the main villain being built up in the movie. That's what he should have been. But in this movie, you had that. What were that demonic lady that was coming out of that one girl? That
The
was
voodoo chick.
Voodoo
I can't
Chick. Yeah,
remember
that
her
was
name.
bad.
Voodoo
That, and then
priestess or something.
and then middle part of the movie, that one chick with the mask just comes out of nowhere and she's like, "Well, I'm part of the group now." What the fuck? It was just like, surprise, motherfucker. What in the world? Killer Croc watching BET. Why is Killer Croc black? Like
Well,
what?
this was another example of you not using the characters correctly.
At
Like if you
all?
look at the animated Suicide Squad movies, there's two of them that come to my mind.
Yeah. Yep.
One,
Yep.
both of those were excellent. Then you look at James Gunn's Suicide
Good.
Squad
Like
movie,
it.
and that was like essentially taken from a comic book. Like
Just
they're
like
a
it. Yeah.
covert team that's handling kind of B-level villains, and then Starro makes an appearance in the crescendo, which was great. Oh yes, Enchantress. Thank you, Cyfax.
Yep.
Suicide Squad was like, okay, I need someone to beat Superman if he turns into a villain. And it's like, okay, so we're gonna get a roller derby chick, a sniper, a guy with a skin condition, and the pyro kid. And it's just kind of like, these guys can't
El
beat up
Diablo.
anybody.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
these guys can't win against anybody. And the
There was also
villain
the
of the
boomerang
show.
guy.
Oh yeah, the
Oh my
boomerang guy.
god.
The villain of the
Yeah.
show turns out to be the very member of the team, kind of like what Thunderbolts did, but
Yeah.
Thunderbolts apparently
Yep.
did it better. It's misusing the team. It was a lot of. They should have just. I would love to see David Ayer's cut because I think his is a much different movie. This is when DC was essentially the CEOs were coming in and
Just
saying
panicking.
our focus groups like this, this,
Yeah.
and this, and then they were going through and just patchworking. This is
Yeah,
what happened
all of what
to
happened in this movie, like you
Justice
said, was
League.
panicking from
Yeah,
BVS because
this is what
yeah.
happened to Justice League. This is what
hmm
happened to Suicide Squad. Yeah,
Even Wonder Woman to some
this was
degree,
yeah.
you know?
Wonder Woman, was
That
also done
famous
this.
No Man Land scene, they didn't want her to have it in there, and she fought to put it in there.
Yeah, one of the better scenes of the whole movie.
At the time, the star power from Will Smith, aka Deadshot, and the cool appeal to this film, trusted by its original music like Imagine Dragons' Sucker for Pain, helped this stinker become a box office sensation. Sensation's a hard word. This is a box office. This is what I would literally just call luck. It was only going to make that much money at that moment in time. This comes out like right now, this fails. This makes 150 maybe if I'm being real generous. Next up is Thor: Love and Thunder, which made $760.9 million. This was in Phase 4 of the MCU. When thinking of what has gone wrong with the MCU post Endgame, many fans or former MCU watchers would point to Taika Big Titties Thor: Love and Thunder as one of its biggest failings. I agree. This is the second worst MCU movie they've ever put out. Because the first one's Eternals. Debatably, you could argue whichever one's the third. However, it performed well during summer 2022 as the second highest earning film in its franchise and didn't turn a profit. Look at those marketing and that
Didn't he
budget number.
also do Ragnarok though? Wasn't
He
that
did.
also
Yeah.
Taika Waititi?
That's the
He
only
did
reason why
Ragnarok.
the
Yeah,
only reason why this movie made this money is because of the success of Ragnarok, and
yeah,
everyone was
Yeah,
going
I think
into it thinking this was going to be another Ragnarok, and it turned out it was just a fucking mess. But yeah,
right.
it was not fun like that.
no,
And keep in mind, if people don't remember why Taika Big Titty got here, people thought Thor was boring from his first movie to where Avengers was at. And then after we saw Dark World, people were like, I think his character's boring. I don't agree with it, but that's what fans said. So they brought in Taika Big Titty. He went with this comedy route for Ragnarok. It surprised everyone. People thought it was good. I mean, I think it's overrated, but people thought it was fun enough, you know. And then they thought they could just do that again. But that kind of trick only works once because when you expect it coming, it's not going to have the same impact. Keep in mind, we didn't know what Ragnarok what was going to be. Like I generally thought from the trailers it was going to be somewhat similar to like maybe a mixture of the first and the second one, but no, it was just a whole fucking comedy movie. We're like, oh, all right, I guess. It was one of the more fun experiences I had at the theater watching Ragnarok. I will admit that. But Love and Thunder is just Ragnarok times 10 without like Ragnarok, as much problems that it does have some cool emotional moments and scenes in it. This has none of that. This has terrible plot, terrible pacing. Chris Hemsworth's not acting. No one really has an actual arc here. Gore is terrible. They waste Christian Bale. The fucking movie has those yelling goats. And the only reason why it made this much money is because it's Thor. He's like one of the last characters people even gave a shit about. And they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's try give this a chance. And that's why it made this much money. This means a fifth Thor film can't be ruled out, even if Taika Waititi is not expected to return. He better not return. Next one is Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, which made $874.3 million. If you guys were there back in the day when this was announced, you knew the hype was there. It was even delayed. It was supposed to come out in 2015, but it was delayed to 2016. This should have been a billion-dollar movie. The amount of money they poured into this movie, marketing, and the marketing wasn't the usual $100 million. Oh no, the marketing for this movie was in the $150 million territory, and its budget was around like $200 million. Warner Brothers invested a lot into this movie because people kept saying, "Oh, this is gonna make $1 billion," and it should have because it's fucking Batman and Superman. Then Marvel at the same time had Captain America: Civil War, and they moved it to I think July or June because they wanted to have they were like, okay, DC, that's a freaking juggernaut. We're not gonna have Civil War compete with that. Let BVS come out first, and then Civil War came out afterwards, and Civil War was just a better movie. It's just a better movie, top to bottom. This is a piece of shit movie. It only made money because the name itself. It's Batman and Superman. But this should be the fact that this did not make $1 billion is absolutely such a disappointment. The only reason why it did make it $1 billion is because of the word of mouth. The word of mouth was so bad in this movie. everyone that basically went and watched it the first week said it was dog shit. This was I think the first superhero movie to have that historic drop of like 40-50%. Remember that? It was the first one to have a major drop off week 2, which is crazy, you know? But man, if people weren't there for the BVS hype, you were missing out. In many ways, this was DC's response to the MCU back in 2016. Instead of methodically introducing its characters in solo films before a major team up, Warner Brothers jumped the gun after Man of Steel to Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. This is written by Chris Terrio and David S. Goyer, if you were to remember. While some may defend Zack Snyder's vision, I don't, he's trash. Especially the extended version, that's also not as good, and it's still boring. It was wildly panned at the time, receiving nowhere near the love of the rival film Captain America: Civil War. Beside all of this, a ton of comic book fans around the globe filled theaters to see this movie, making it the second highest earner from the former DCEU. Snyder has previously said that BVS wasn't received well because audiences didn't want the hardcore, deconstructivist, heavily layered, experimental, modern mythological superhero movie that he.
Well,
Fuck me.
If
God
he was a better writer, we would have loved that. But the problem is he can't create that.
This man tried to put The Death of Superman, The Dark Knight Returns in one movie, which both those movies could themselves be their own thing, just in and of itself from the story arcs that they are. This guy fuck. I'm dead. I'm fucking dead. This guy's a crackhead. This guy's literally a crackhead. Your fucking movie sucks and you're trash. I have to give him this. Sorry, Zach.
Man, people smoke crack and you shouldn't do that.
Captain Marvel made $1.13 billion at the box office. Well, to be fair, everyone kind of still knows about this because that's the only accolade it has. Captain Marvel came out at a time period where the MCU was at its peak still. You could kind of just drop a random movie and it would do easily maybe $600 to $800 million, maybe $1 billion.
That's not what happened. They said you needed to, so they did it between the two.
Infinity War and
in order to understand Endgame, you had to actually watch Captain Marvel. Otherwise, you would just be lost.
To get people to go see this. This came out. This is what I want to tell people. Captain Marvel has the worst word of mouth for an MCU movie, barring basically before like Eternals and like Thor: Love and Thunder came out. Like this has talk to anyone. No one likes this. It only made $1 billion based off luck. It came out in between Infinity War and Endgame, right in the middle, like my wife when we were fucking having an Oreo with her last night. Right, Warren? I'm joking.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And oh fuck, you made me lose my train of thought. Well, you have to remember, Feige was also on Damage Control because Brie Larson was doing the whole "I hate, white man fans" shit. So there was a bit of a Damage Control, and he ended up lying about like, "Hey, you need to watch this movie to know what's going on with Endgame." And you did not need to do that at all.
Nothing about that movie was any indication you needed to see that before Endgame. I'll be honest here, it was a complete random guess. I kind of felt he was lying. And when I saw the trailers, I just wasn't that interested. It was one of the few MCU movies at that moment in time when it wasn't its peak that I didn't go see in theaters. I didn't watch Captain Marvel in theaters. I just watched it randomly at one point on my own free time.
Over and over again.
That scene where it's that song playing, "I'm Just a Girl," like what the fuck kind of cringe was that? Oh my god. Opening ahead of one of the biggest films ever released has many benefits. Captain Marvel was the first female-led solo movie in MCU history. It opened in theaters a few months before Avengers Endgame. People forget. It literally opened 2 months before Endgame too. Another layer of luck for the MCU, or for this movie, which directly connected that movie. At the time, it wasn't crazy to think Captain Marvel made $1 billion. Yes, it was. It was only kind of surprising because, it's debatable how you think about it. But for me, it only made that money because of where it was placed. Despite its middling reception, because Marvel was the hottest thing going, following its direct sequel, The Marvels becoming the biggest flop in the MCU history, which it should have, because that's expected. No one liked Captain Marvel. I would expect a sequel to do that bad. Nobody liked it. Yes, I would expect one of the worst talked about MCU movie sequel to do terrible. which it did. I'm glad it did. Fuck that fucking first movie. It's surprising to see how high the original soared at the box office, all based off luck and timing, right place at the right time. Aquaman made $1.15 billion. So keep in mind, this movie, the guy who talks to fish, Arthur Curry, made more money than a solo Superman movie, a Batman and Superman team up movie, a Wonder Woman solo movie, a Suicide Squad movie with the fucking Joker, and it made more money than a Justice League movie. If you told me the Aquaman solo movie would make more money than all of those just based off name alone, I'd have called you crazy. You were a prophet. And
Well,
this movie's
hey,
not really great. It's just meh,
I'll tell you
honestly.
right now, it's the most fun out of
It
all
is.
of the Zack Snyder Zack Snyder era movies. Now, Wonder Woman 1, I do have a soft spot for that one.
Yeah.
This movie was better. It's completely disconnected from the Snyderverse because they didn't communicate well
Mhm.
between the two, because Snyder had
And James Wan directed
established.
this one, from what I remember, right? Yeah.
Yeah, James Wan did, and he was doing this the same time as they were doing Justice League. And Snyder had it set up where they had to create a bubble in order to talk to each other. And then also William
Oh
Defoe's
yeah, I remember that.
character,
Yeah.
yeah, William Defoe's character has already had or had just met Arthur in this deleted scene from the Justice League movie. So this movie almost felt like it was disconnected, but it was the most fun. It was cohesive. It wasn't Shakespeare by no means, but I liked it. I've
It felt
rewatched
like
it
it flowed
multiple
better than the
times.
movies in the universe. Like, I don't
Oh
hate this
yeah,
movie. I think it's
it
yeah.
flowed
I
great.
watched it. I thought it was fine. Overall, like this this along with Guardians of the Galaxy have to be the biggest like underdog stories ever. Like you factor in how much Aquaman is talked about or at all, like or even cared about. The fact that
Yeah,
it became it grows higher than a Superman movie and a Batman Superman team up movie and Justice League. That
yeah.
has to be the biggest underdog story ever,
Nah,
honestly.
I'll go with the Suicide Squad, whatever the James Gunn one is, because it's
Well,
right
that one,
after how horrible the other Suicide
I,
Squad was.
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Are you talking like box office terms or like overall quality film? That's two different things, I would imagine.
I think expectations. Like, who the hell thought that you could possibly make a good film after that horrible one that had all the actual stars in it?
Yeah.
Well, who'd have thought that a fucking Aquaman movie would outgrow Justice League? That's
Dude, have you seen
crazy.
Momoa? Have you seen his tattoos?
Okay, just based off name alone, a Justice League movie should easily be $1 billion if you're going off just name alone. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
but
and James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie is the best movie of
I
that
think
entire
so good.
universe.
Yeah, rewatching it,
Yeah.
fuck,
But this
holds up so
movie, in
well.
my opinion, was really fun, and it kind of deserves the
So
positive.
I would have this movie as my
Yeah.
fourth. Yeah, so my favorite was Shazam as number 1, Suicide Squad 2. I would have Wonder Woman third, then I'd probably have this one fourth. The fifth one you could just fucking toss in whatever you want in there. It doesn't really matter, honestly.
Yeah, you're talking first Wonder Woman, right? Not the.
Yes. Oh, I love the second one, obviously. Huge fan.
Oh.
One of the highest earning DC films ever, Aquaman was an unmatched international hit. Everyone across the globe wanted a piece of Jason Momoa's Arthur Curry's ass, as the 2018 film earned a staggering 816.9 million outside of the US, of which 291.8 million came from the Chinese box office. Aquaman was actually relatively well received, making it one of the DCEU's best movies, but the heights it was able to reach are a bit jarring looking back. Unfortunately, the direct sequel, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which I did not watch, was the final film of 5 straight DC flops. Yeah, I mean, this movie also came out in a time period where it's 2018, Infinity War, Black Panther is out, the first Venom movie came out. It was still in that like superhero hype phase where you could drop a movie like this and that would be a possibility. But when you're not in that hype phase and movies came out afterwards, well, that's why it made it what it did. But to be fair, that last Aquaman movie, no one watched it because you already knew the franchise was ending at that point. So why the fuck would you watch that?
The film wasn't terrible, but you could tell it was hurt by the fact that this was the end of an incoherent universe.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like the same with Blue Beetle.
Yep.
Blue Beetle wasn't terrible, but it didn't have anything to connect it to because everything that was connected to it's dead. So it was kind of like with Aquaman, because it had its moments. I watched The Lost Kingdom.
Yeah.
It had its moments, but it was not as good as the first one. But it felt like it was hurt
Yep.
by the death of the DC.
Iron Man 3 makes $1.2 billion. This is arguably still to this day one of the worst MCU movies they've ever put out. People go, well, they made worse ones now. Does that make this one? No, this movie stinks. This movie fucking ass. The only
This
reason why
movie
anyone
was
likes it is because of Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr.'s performance. That's the only reason why I like this. That's
This isn't the one with Whiplash, right? Like that's
no.
that's
two
Iron
or
Man
whatever.
This is
with
the
the
one with
Mandarin.
Mandarin. Yeah.
The
Oh,
Mandarin
the
reveal is
Mandarin. Okay,
terrible.
right.
Yep. So people don't remember
Yeah,
back
they
in the
went
day,
for something.
the trailers implied it was going to be a dark, grittier Iron Man, and then they were like, no, it's going to be the same jokey one you guys know and love. And you're like, okay, that Mandarin reveal. Remember, you'll never see me coming. Remember that? Oh God, what a throwback that was. And then
I
you
honestly
thought
was
he was
so
going to be the
pissed off
Mandarin,
about that.
right?
I
You
was,
thought he was going to be the Mandarin, and then he's not.
yeah,
It's
to
like
me it was lying. It was like you
that's
guys
actually bait and
lied
switch.
to
Yeah.
us.
Mm-hmm.
I almost felt like Marvel was giving its fans the middle finger. It's like, here's Iron Man 3, and we're
Here's
going
his
to
main villain, the
advertise
Mandarin.
it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
here's a great character as the Mandarin. It looks interesting. I'm here for this. And then it's like, oh
Yeah.
no, that was a lie. We're going to take away his suits. We're going to turn the Mandarin into essentially a joke.
Yep.
And then, yeah, so for me, I really did not like that movie with what it was trying to
It's
do.
just also not as interesting. Like, I mean, the shit with Iron Patriot was all fucked up. Like, Iron Man, oh, goodness gracious, there wasn't a lot of Iron Man being in the suit enough for me. I think the villains are very forgettable. I think the plot is just not there. This is debatably. I mean, this and Thor: The Dark World. Holy crap! The fact that they had back-to-back worst movies in their franchise at the time. People like the previous phases of Marvel, but I was gonna say this. A lot of it is, I think, revisionist history. They did have a lot of better movies now than they back then they do now. I agree. But this, if I did an MCU ranking of my own list, this would still be in the bottom. This movie's awful. This movie is bad.
Man, it's
terrible.
better than Thor: Dark World.
Is it?
So it's done by Shane Black. Yeah, man. It's the dude who did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, The Nice Guys.
Shane Black was in the Predator movie. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was.
But
was.
still,
This is
I
better
don't know,
than
man.
Thor:
I
The
was
Dark World, but
hoping
that's
for
not saying
better.
much, man. I mean,
but he took some swings. I kind of dig the way that they tried the Mandarin thing. I don't think it paid off well, but fair enough.
The only reason why this movie made $1 billion is because what movie came before it, people? If you remember, it came after the Avengers, which essentially put the MCU on the map. Any movie they put out at that time after the Avengers would have made $1 billion. That's why we always said if you released a comic book line for the MCU, it would have made money because at that moment in time, if you guys remember back in 2012, after the Avengers did so well at the box office, anything they put out would have did very good. This did very good because you have Tony Stark, RDJ, and came after the Avengers. That's why it did so well. I mean,
well, you also had like Guy Pearce in it. Man, there's some cool shit in this. Yeah. I wish they had done it better, but
me
fair
too.
enough.
Yeah, it's sad. A year after the Avengers cemented the MCU as a game changer in Hollywood, Iron Man 3 reaped all the benefits of kicking off Phase 2 and continuing the overarching narrative. Far and away the highest grossing Iron Man film, the 2013 movie roughly doubled the global earnings of Iron Man 2 just 3 years prior. Ironically, the end of this trilogy was met with mixed reviews, with many fans calling it the weakest of the 3 Iron Man films to this day. I agree. The trailers didn't imply that. The trailers implied it was going to be a pretty good movie. If you guys remember the trailers when they first dropped, and it was just not a movie that I look back fondly of. I've watched it a few times. Second time I was like, maybe I was looking at it wrong. Nope, still hated it. Next one.
How do you not kind of go with the trailer of the Mandarin giving his speech? Like, come on, it's so ominous. It seems like you'd have to go that route. I thought it was the
Mandarin.
But of course it's gonna. I don't know, man. It's a hell of a trailer. I just wish the payoff was a little bit better.
Same, yeah. And because it's at the end. Remember, Guy Pearce character, like, he was fighting him. Remember, he was like, "Oh, I'm the Mandarin." What? What?
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? Oh God. Maybe they couldn't use the Mandarin because of something happened with like the Chinese people they
Well,
have. I don't fucking remember,
it's
honestly.
not exactly the best character to be using. I can understand why they just want to like tease it and not actually do it. It's a character that's full of tropes. I can understand why you'd want to kind of take it easy on that one. Come on, man. The
I
Mandarin? Have you
hate
seen
you.
his mustache?
God, I hate you so much, and I want to give you such a hug. Venom, the first movie in Sony's what was that universe called? This universe is so trash. The fucking
Venomverse?
no, the Sony actually named this kind of Spider-Man villain verse something. It was called the Sony Spider-Man universe. Yeah, the SSU. So we had Venom, which made $856 million, the first movie in the SSU. Well, these kind of
Hmm.
movies, well, let's just say this one. This one was made, to be fair, I will be honest here. Ever since Spider-Man 3, I have heard rumors through many years they were always trying to do a solo Venom movie. Yes, Venom is a character you can do on his own. You can. But without the whole Spider-Man setup, it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel kind of earned. Doesn't really feel like the character kind of hits the same for me, honestly. You know, this was a movie that only made that much money because of the superhero hype craze that we were in. Keep in mind, this movie came out in 2018, came out on Halloween, before the 2018 Halloween movie came out. It came out after like Black Panther and Infinity War, and came out the same year that Into the Spider-Verse came out, from what I remember. Like it was gonna, and keep in mind, Venom is like debatably one of Spider-Man's most popular villains. So, and Spider-Man has a lot of pull. So I feel like when it comes to movies like this, people go and check them out, and then you see if the box office has any legs with the sequels. And none of the sequels mattered in terms of box office outside of the Venom movies, because this movie is bad. Like, this is awful. I mean, the Eminem Venom song was kind of cool, I guess. Maybe. God, wow. Do you remember
I
this
put it
movie?
on par with that Imagine Dragons one. I'm good.
Okay.
Not ever hearing either of them again.
Good lord. Why are you not fun, Gray? Don't you like the rap god?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the rap god, but yeah, I don't know. The movie was not made for me.
It
I need
was.
my Topher Grace as Eddie Brock. That's the only way it works for
Oh
me.
no, Gray. Oh, we lost him again. Like, I look back on watching it, I'm like, wow, what was that movie even for? Like, you look back, it's not even one of those so good it's bad. It's just not good. Like, it's just a terrible movie. Like, the plot makes no fucking sense. Like, remember that plot that Riot wanted to basically leave Earth to go get the symbiotes to come back? Why didn't he do that on their like 6-month break? Remember there was that 6-month time skip in the movie? Why didn't he just leave then? Like, what? Blow my fucking brains out. Holy crap. The spark that lit the fire that built Sony's Spider-Man universe, Venom, starring Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, benefited from a few key contributors unrelated to the film's quality. In the last 2010s, comic book movies were at an all-time high in popularity. Spider-Man had joined the MCU, putting himself and his villains of great interest. Keep in mind, no one wanted to see a full universe based around Spider-Man's villains. They wanted to have a Spider-Man universe with him fighting the villains. But Sony's so fucking retarded, they can't see straight in any way. I can make an Asian joke there, but I won't. Finally, the character of Venom was popular around the globe. Most notably, the film scored $269.2 million in China, more than it earned in the domestic market. Yeah, if you look at the international numbers on this first movie, it did better internationally. So, all right, X-Men Apocalypse. Oh, God,
Oh man,
this fucking
that
dud.
one earned it like 550.
This is a
Wow, wow, wow.
bad movie.
Um,
This is a
yeah,
bad film.
I mean, it sucks because again, they had some like really cool actors in there.
Dude,
Apocalypse is played by
I know
what
you
the
love
hell is
Sophie
his name
Turner.
now?
No, Oscar Isaac. He played
Thank you,
Apocalypse.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah,
I was just blanking on him completely.
we know
I
you
kept
love
wanting to
Sophie
say
Turner.
Diego Luna for no reason. Man, I hate Sophie Turner. I really hate that they had to throw the Game of Thrones people into all of it. I
Yep.
get why people love this version of Mystique, but it is not my Mystique.
But remember,
My
dude, the only
Mystique
reason why
is
this
Rebecca
movie
Romaine.
The
Come
only reason why this movie made as much money is because when Matthew Vaughn directed First Class, it brought people back in, because X-Men Origins Wolverine, directed by Gavin Hood, that was terrible.
Well,
Then
don't
you had
forget
Days of Future
Logan,
Past.
man.
You had Days of Future Past before this one, and Days of Future Past is arguably the best one they did in this whole Fox Marvel universe they had back then. This movie only made as much money based off Days of Future Past giving people that like, okay, we're back. We had First Class, we had Days of Future Past. Oh, we're black. We're back in black. Like, I will be honest here. I saw when the trailer first dropped for this Apocalypse. Do you remember like seeing him in the makeup where he looked like Apocalypse? Based off how he
Yeah,
looked, I had a huge red flag. I was like, he doesn't not look like Apocalypse. That doesn't look like him. It looks like the fucking Ivan Ooze character from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. Remember that?
very
Like
much so.
he, I thought it was a huge red flag based off the way he looked. But then again, I went and saw it and I was like, such a dip in quality compared to the other previous two in that trilogy. Just like I I just hated it. You don't look at it fondly, like, oh god, it's an awful movie. I really will never watch this again. I'd rather honestly slit my fucking throat. Following critical successes in X-Men First Class and X-Men Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse was a real stinker at 20th Century Fox. Once again, this was in an era of heightened comic book movie popularity, but Apocalypse stands out as one of the worst films in the Fox X-Men collection. Less than 600 million isn't exactly breaking records, but it's still a major success. Many fans may think it's more in the line with 2019's Dark Phoenix, which earned a measly $65.8 million total at the domestic box office. Yeah, this movie
It
essentially,
definitely is.
like, I didn't go see Dark Phoenix. The last movie I saw in this universe was Deadpool 2, because I saw Logan and I saw Deadpool 2. So I didn't see
You're not
Dark
missing
Phoenix.
much. If you really want to see like how bad it can get and how you can turn it into, you can lean into the soap opera aspects without getting the payoff. You could do that with X-Men because a
Yeah.
shitload of it is soap opera. But man, if you want to see like the worst take on the Dark Phoenix saga, go watch that movie. It is really bad, and man, I wish the kids from Game of Thrones weren't in like everything, but
Yeah, I agree.
you had to go ahead and strike when it was hot. I totally would have thought that Dark Phoenix would have been better than New Mutants, the other one with
Yeah, so I didn't see New Mutants or Dark Phoenix. Those are the last two that I didn't see.
I gotta be honest, I'm not gonna call it a good movie, but New Mutants is better than both of these last ones, either Apocalypse or Dark Phoenix, which it shouldn't be. It had so many like reshoots and was shelved
Right.
for like 2 years or something. But man, there were some interesting performances in that, and they are far superior to anything that either Sophie Turner or sadly Jennifer Lawrence kind of put out on this one. But yeah,
'Cause I
maybe
remember
I'm a little biased against them.
Dark Phoenix was directed by it wasn't Bryan Singer. Bryan Singer only did Days of Future Past and Apocalypse. Dark Phoenix was by Simon Kinberg, actually.
I couldn't have told you that one.
Like
Yeah.
Bryan Singer didn't even produce Dark Phoenix because Bryan Singer got in trouble with the parties. Let's just say the twank parties, as they're called. Godly that. Oh Lord. Like, I was so disappointed watching Apocalypse. I was like, damn. Because it felt like the previous trilogy all over again, from X-Men to Last Stand. I was like, they're going to do it again. They did it again. X-Men, pretty interesting for a time period, but not terrible, not great, but good, I guess.
It just
X2,
sucks, man,
good,
because
and Last Stand, terrible. Go ahead. What'd you want to say?
you could see that they put money into it. Like the sets
Yeah,
weren't the worst, but man, they did not understand how to execute on any of the storylines, and then
But
they
it's so
just got
crazy.
Apocalypse so wrong.
Because they did. I don't know how you had Matthew Vaughn do First Class, Bryan Singer come back and do Days of Future Past, and then Bryan Singer comes back and just basically reminds you why you could never trust the Fox X-Men movies. Highs and lows. One movie would be really good. The next one's the worst thing you ever watched. Next movie's good. Next one's the worst thing you ever watched. That universe is good at being inconsistently consistent. That's the
Yeah,
only
I'm
thing it was
looking
ever
for it
good
to be
at.
rebooted. I think the MCU could do something really cool with it.
Do you think people play too much revisionist history with these movies?
Probably. I don't know, man. Like it is kind of the start to the popularizing of superheroes, but like they mock it in the other one, like the no leather. He had a point of he wanted to see his team in dark leather, and
Hmm.
there's something to that, I guess. I don't know, man. Some of his choices really worked. Look at Wolverine. He's classically been Jackman for years now.
Hmm. All right, next one we have good old Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3. Emo Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Topher Grace, Venom. I just okay, so people know
Dude,
how
it
I feel
has
about this
some of the
movie.
coolest shit in there, but then it's got a whole bunch of other shit as well.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wish they had let Sam Raimi go with his thing, but
I
from what
agree.
it sounds like, they had spent so much time developing the effects for Sandman, and he just wouldn't give it up when the studio's like, okay, but you got to do Venom. Venom's really popular, so you're going to put Venom in your movie. So it doesn't feel like they made any, I don't know, concessions to do that, and it just feels like it's just stuck in there. But very much PS3 font, so it should have done better. It deserves at least $1 billion.
So for me, this movie represents several different things. So it represents that even if a director is successful in what he's doing with the character, studios will still interfere. What I've always said when it comes to these movies, and I love the first one, I love the second one, they're both really, really good. If someone like Sam Raimi proves that he can do these and he can, and his way works, and you're making a bunch of money, why would anyone? That'd be the last thing on my mind. Be like, man, I gotta go really fucking talk to that Sam Raimi dude. He's really fucking up my movies. No one. I repeat, he should have. I mean, you could argue the fact that someone just shouldn't be given full free reign,
I
but
hear what you're saying, but
like,
he wants to use Sandman. If we just threw Venom in this, and think
yeah,
about it, the kid from that '70s show agreed to be Venom. So if we just shove that into this movie, we'll make
right,
$1 billion.
right. So like, I get it. It was Avi Arad that was the president of Marvel at the time, or Sony or whatever. He you know, wanted Sam Raimi to do it, but it's like Sam Raimi already proved himself. He had already basically, proven that he could get these movies to do good. I just don't know why you wouldn't trust him to do the third one. Like, what in their mind possessed them to be like, you know what? You can't do Spider-Man, Sam. What the fuck? He just came off of Spider-Man 2. And then if you like hear what he wanted to do with the third one, it was very similar to the second one. These movies did their best when it was single villain focused slice of life entertainment. Then they went to
You,
three villains and it went to shit. Why would
well, you couldn't
Sony?
have done two in this because you had to wrap up the Harry stuff too. So
You
like, no
did.
matter
You did.
what, you're gonna have to have two. But he was not willing to budge on the Sandman thing because that's what, like, literally they've
Yeah,
been
right.
spending.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 years doing the special effects tests on, and they finally figured out how to do Sandman. But
Yeah.
I could understand the studio being like, really, Sandman? That's what you want to base this off of?
But why would you not trust him though? Had he not earned it from the first two movies though?
You can't trust the artsy type. You gotta
Oh my
go to the
god.
people.
Damn,
You gotta
Gray, we're
have a
losing
focus
him.
group. And let me tell you, people like Venom.
No, it's not that I don't agree with you. It's just more like, if you get to that upper echelon and you've proven that you can make movies that fans really enjoy, if he's not given the free reins to do what he wants, I don't even know what will prove you to be able to have that as a possible thing for yourself. Like, he already proven he could give you good movies. Why would you be interfering with the third one? What reason would you have? Like, I will still never understand why they interfere with it. Like, I'd rather have him just do the same style that he was doing in the previous two. It clearly worked. We all love those movies. It wasn't someone's movies that were like, okay, maybe the studio really should have gotten involved. No. Single story. Green Goblin, main villain, first one, great. Second movie, awesome. One of the best super movies ever made. Doc Ock, great. And now we gotta go like, hey Sam, I know you just did a really good in that second one, but we know better. Why? Why? I will never get that. It made no sense. It made no sense for them to interfere with his work. If he made a bad third movie, at least you could be like, okay, he did it on his own. But now he could just
But,
be like, well, the studio told me to do it. Well, that he takes no fault for it then, you know?
but like, the real question is like, why would you shorten Christopher to just Topher instead of go to Chris? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Gray, are you a human being?
I'm not. I don't know, man.
I'm a mustard.
You know, I'm just saying, like, it's the most popular character. You got to throw Venom into it. Nobody cares about Sandman. I'm pretty sure that's the way that the studio
Yeah.
is thinking on this. I kind of get what they're saying. I wish that Raimi was willing to budge a little bit. I think, he wasn't willing to
No, but
budge on
I'm
his
asking,
vision.
why should he budge when he's already proven his formula works?
You can never prove enough, man. You're only as good as your last film. And Spider-Man 3 only got 8.9
Ray,
million.
if Spider-Man
sorry,
2
890
didn't
million.
prove he could do what, like, if he can do it, I don't know what will prove you then at that point. But I want to find you guys the interview. So this article came out like 2007, so it'll be really outdated. But this was what. So I know he's changed his response over the years, but I want to find the because like Always Nerdy had it in his video, so I'm gonna go and find that one right now for you guys because this is very important here. Give me 1 second here. Spider-Man 3. It's the exact quote, so I'm not just taking it from someone's video and it's the wrong thing. I'll give it to you right now. Let me go to the Venom section right here, and it's gonna be where the interview where Gray's talking about the whole Venom Avi Arad stuff. So let me put it over here. Well, thank you, ads. I really love you. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna do one thing really quickly. As you guys watch this video, just share the audio. Just sharing audio.
Hey, man, 28 years later looks good, though.
You fucking bastard. You
I
want to make
mean,
love to me? Yes, I want to skip the ad.
I'm anticipating it on June 20th.
Okay.
Not
so
the making love part.
Let me start right there. Even, say for Spider-Man, I'll explain more what I think about this later. But I need to play this part really quickly. You're only going to watch like this section right there with the interview. That's it. What the hell? Oh, I forgot this tab muted. Isn't that interesting, Gray? Don't you love me?
Oh, you were muting your tabs earlier. I hear you.
Is have Sandman tell Eddie no immediately to the point they're about to fight, causing Eddie to turn into Venom. Our introduction to about one-liners. But the game is a little too over the top for me in this moment. In their defense, though, I think this is more of a trickle-down effect from the movie, since I think we can agree that a lot of its Venom decisions were flawed. It's not too surprising, though, given that it's common knowledge that Sam Raimi didn't want to use Venom originally. Sam wanted Sandman and Harry to be the main antagonists, but after some prodding from Avi Arad, Sam felt like he needed to find a way to include Venom. Sam describes this further in an interview with Collider. But I had worked on the story with my brother Ivan, and primarily it was a story that featured the Sandman. It was really about Peter, Mary Jane, Harry, and that new character. But when we were done, Avi Arad, my partner and the former president of Marvel at the time, said to me, "Sam, you're not paying attention to the fans enough. You need to think about them. You've made 2 movies now with your favorite villains, and now you're about to make another one with your favorite villains. The fans love Venom. He is the fan favorite."
Keep in mind what it just said there. He had made very successful, beloved Spider-Man movies using his favorite villains, what he knew. And then Avi Arad goes, "No, you need to do it my way." I want people to understand how retarded that sounds. Why would I do it your way when my way works?
I mean, he was still able to do some Raimi with it, like the shadow of the symbiote on the wall, like behind Peter Parker. He was able to do some really cool, like Raimi horror shots, but still, I wish the money people didn't shoehorn. Yeah. It's what you're gonna get with these big studio ones. You're gonna have so many hands in the pot. There's so many people who want to just make their mark on it somehow.
And then he said, you need to think about the fans enough. Why would he? That's just what the fuck? What is that? He obviously would think about the fans, given the fact that he's talked about this movie's experience and how much it affected him for years. He clearly cared. I don't think he cared about every fan, but to use the fans in a gaslighting logic to put in your villain for his movie, it's like, come on, man. Everyone's fine with Sam Raimi's movies. We didn't need anything more. His style was fine.
He might have said it in a funky way, but I think it was mainly popularity. It's the most popular villain is Venom. Why the fuck aren't we using Venom?
That's from a business point of view, and that's fine. What I'm like, if you wanted to try that, why not just try it because Venom should be his own villain against Spider-Man. It's just that should always kind of be the thing. Go ahead, Warren.
What they should have done is fine, you've been working on Sandman and you got Sandman set up. This is gonna be good, but I want you to set up Venom for the fourth one.
Just do the meteor coming down at the end
Do
of the
the
movie.
meteor coming down, or and then show it at the
And when they
very
did it in Spider-Man
end.
2, when they set up New Goblin. That's it.
Yeah,
All you have to do.
I would just set it up, because in the fourth one, whether you come back, Sam, or not, we're gonna do Venom. That way, you let Sam Raimi cook. Because what happens is when you start shoehorning in Venom, well, then it's like if the movie was really disjointed. Like, you had this really kind of personal story that they made with Sandman, and it that kind of got overshadowed by Topher Grace's Venom, which they kind of shoehorn into the film, and it never really works out when you force a creative to put something into something they've already been setting up.
Especially
It's
when
kind
he's
of what
proven
happened
himself.
with
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If he was someone where it's like, okay, I don't know if this guy can really do it, that's one thing. But for someone that's already proven himself, that's ridiculous.
But yeah, I mean, if you're an executive producer, you want it's like you want your ideas in there too, and you want to make it's there is a logic to saying, okay, you did really good with Doc Ock, who no one gives a shit about. I want to see you do something good with a character that's super popular right now.
Yes.
And there is something about that there is a logic to that, but you hurt the overall product when you ramrod it in there when it wasn't set up for it. And just like with Suicide Squad, with all of the cut ups to the point where David Ayer's original film is not even there anymore. The stuff that you've heard that you see with like Justice League, how they cut that up. Rise of the Skywalker, there's an Abrams cut because they cut that one up. So yeah, it's a
No one
lot
wants
of
to see
that.
that. No one
Yeah,
wants to watch anything from that fucking hack.
It ruins.
Keep it locked up.
It ruins these films when they do this, and that was a classic one because Spider-Man 2 is literally the greatest superhero film probably
one of them.
ever
Next
made.
to like what? The Dark Knight, arguably.
It's on the Mount Rushmore, easily.
And imagine walking up to that director and telling that guy, you know what? You should probably put this character in. Yeah, your style's not working. What are you talking about? What the fuck? Crack meth did you just snort?
Yeah.
Because
there's probably some ego too. It's like, well, Avery's like, I produced the second one, but everyone talks about you, so now I want something where I
here's another fun fact.
Say that I did.
Do you remember that Spider-Man? Remember that Spider-Man video game that came out with these movies? The video game tie-ins. If you remember, you could play as Green Goblin in the first one. They almost had to remove it because Sam Raimi specifically did not want kids unlocking the Green Goblin and playing as the villain, because he was like, why would you want the kids playing the villain? He's a bad guy. Like, he clearly wanted to show you the optimism and goodness out of Spider-Man himself. Like, I think this is the movie that broke him from fucking studio interference. But then again, I hate Sony sometimes.
All Spider-Man readers love Venom, and even though you came from 70s Spider-Man, this is what the kids are thinking about. Please incorporate Venom. Listen to the fans now. And so that's really where I realized, okay, maybe I don't have the whole Spider-Man universe in my head. I need to learn a little bit more about Spider-Man and maybe incorporate this villain to make some of the real diehard fans of Spider-Man finally happy.
See, he only got that thought when the other person told him that. That's it. He wasn't inherently thinking about, I'm going to put Venom in here. It was never his idea, never his plan, nothing.
The fans were loving what he did with 2. Like, we were all like, do whatever you want, sir.
You could just do whatever you want. Yeah.
Good We're ready, sir. Give us some more goodness.
You gaslit him. You told him you didn't know what you were doing. You fucking bastards. Ah, Jesus, Sony.
In an interview with Uproxx, Sam further goes on to describe why he struggled incorporating Venom into the movie. It was really more just
yeah, no shit. There's 3 villains. It wasn't going to work.
But I didn't understand the character that well. It wasn't close to my heart. The best thing I like about Stan Lee and Steve Ditko's Spider-Man is that they made relatable characters that I understand. Even if they were confused, like Norman Osborn, they still have goodness in their heart. They want them to do the right thing, or Peter Parker, or even J. Jonah Jameson has goodness in his heart. When I read about Venom, which I hadn't read as a kid, I had to catch up on it when they wanted him to be in the movie. I didn't recognize enough humanity within that character to be able to identify with him properly. That's really what
Yeah, because if you know, Eddie Brock's a piece of shit. Like, I don't know if people know that. It's not like... It's not. If people don't know, if you don't know, you know.
It boils down to. I think this is a good lesson in creative freedom and how critical it can be to the success of a project. Had Sam been given the freedom to make the movie the way he wanted, Spider-Man 3 likely would be looked back on a lot more fondly.
The reason people would probably tell me, but you don't know that, I would know that because his
Well,
first 2 movies prove
Pizza
it.
time, though.
Oh God, pizza time. Good Lord. But yes, I wanted to make sure when we went over this, fuck Sony, dude. Holy mother of God. They just ruined
But-
shit just cuz.
Would we have gotten Bully Parker if we didn't have the whole symbiote thing? Like, come on.
Put
There's
some
some
dirt in
gold
your
that
eye.
came out.
Really? Really? You love the I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye? Really? Little
We got
Goblin
a
Jr.
great meme out of it.
At the sack. What did it cost? Everything. Tobey Maguire strutted his stuff. Yes, clearly did. Good Lord. His stuff to nearly $900 million in 2007. The most successful Spider-Man film of the Sam Raimi trilogy, and adjusted for inflation, it would be over $1.3 billion. That's how much people loved this character back then. That version of the character stuck up with so many people because of those first 2 movies. Basically, those 2 first movies crawled so this one could walk, if you want to use that as an analogy. For those who can remember, the hype was real for Spider-Man 3, earning $151.1 million during its 3-day opening weekend. Commonly known as the worst Spider-Man film of the 2000s, the third installment exemplifies how commercializing a blockbuster can pay off. However, Maguire's box office success wasn't done there. His return to Spider-Man No Way Home thrust the franchise into one of the MCU's highest earners. All right. This Justice League from 2017 made $661.3 million. Basically, long story short, they essentially kind of pseudo fired Zack Snyder at the time. So when BVS came out in theaters, this was already filming because they were already trying to basically, get this done before Warner Brothers got taken over by AT&T the next year. The executives wanted their bonuses before the new takeover. Josh Whedon was brought in because Zack Snyder had the death in his family. His adopted daughter died. Not real daughter. No, his adopted kid died, which hurt him a lot. And they used that as a way to fire him. They brought in Josh Whedon. Multiple reshoots. Ben Affleck still talks about how much he didn't like what happened on set. Henry Cavill's never really said anything. He's just that kind of guy. He doesn't do that. Ezra Miller, well, no one fucking wanted that freak around. Jason Momoa doesn't say anything. Oh, you had the fucking Ray Fisher's shit he said about Josh Whedon. Keep in mind, Ray Fisher's a drama
First off,
queen, so I don't know if that's even true.
It's Joss. There's no H. It's just Joss.
I said
Come
Josh.
You're saying Josh, but it's Joss.
Are you
Joss.
are you talking about Cool Whip? I'm just kidding. I really like that. Holy
Kind
shit.
of.
So like Josh Whedon comes in and it's like
Joss.
I don't know, like could he have did a better movie if he was just given the reins to do it from the very beginning? I don't know. But I feel like this was always doomed to fail based off the fact that the previous movies from Zack, people didn't really like them, despite what people may say about them. The box office shows they weren't really, despite the box office being high, as this points out, word of mouth was horrible for DC. The only DC movie that had good word of mouth at this time before this movie came out was Wonder Woman. That's the one directed by Patty Jenkins. So this movie's mess behind the scenes was all well documented. Just, oh god, this movie failing is just absolutely disgusting. They've been trying to get a Justice League movie off the ground for years. Remember the whole freaking one with George Miller and all that shit where they got the movie mostly done and they scrapped it because they wanted Nolan to direct a Justice League movie, only for him to tell them no. Like, man, back in the day stuff, crazy. One of the most maligned comic book movies of all time. Justice League still may have earned Warner Brothers a profit. No, it didn't. This is one of, if not the biggest box office failures in history. If you look at the marketing budget and its actual budget, this movie's budget was $350 million. With marketing, that's like easily 400. No, this fucking flopped. Get the fuck out of here, idiot. The film, which set back the DCEU a decade and began the release of Snyder Cut craze, was quite frankly a hit. Justice League didn't perform as well as Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman. which was a problem. But it also didn't completely fall on its face at the box office. That's a lie. That's a lie. What the hell?
So what do you
When-
consider falling on your face at the box office?
This
'Cause
failed.
scroll up. Didn't it make like 600 something?
Look at this.
Well,
Look at this
if it had a
budget.
$350 million budget, and then
I
let's say they
gotcha.
spent
I'm not
the
saying it's
exact
profitable,
same.
No
but I don't know if
way.
making like 700 million is,
Yeah,
you know,
on the
falling on your
surface, that looks
face.
good.
I
On
would
the
say
surface,
like
that looks good.
if it made the 68 whatever million of Dark Phoenix, that's falling on your face.
Yeah, that's true.
This is okay. So the 2017 Justice League grossed a total of 661. Yeah, they're right about that. This is cool domestically, internationally. Let me do
What's the
marketing really
budget?
quickly. The budget I remember was about 330. Let me get you right now. 1 second. So what was the marketing for this?
And don't get
thing?
me wrong, like I'm not calling it a success or saying that they're profitable by any
Yes,
means.
well, of
But,
course, Warner Brothers hit that information. You fucking
I
bastard.
think you'd go like falling on your face like less than
No way,
you know,
man.
the actual.
That's a failure.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
But I
If
would
they
say
put in $100
falling
million
on your
into
face
that,
is less than that. So granted, nobody's thinking of the marketing or anything like that, but I would say if it's 300 million, making 300 million or less would be falling on your face.
so
But,
what
Well,
you're saying
if-
is basically if it took in like 330, it would be considered falling on his face, right?
okay, I'll give you that extra 30.
no,
but
I'm asking, would
Will
you
has a
consider that-
point. We could ask AI. AI knows all.
AI knows everything. I agree.
If the marketing budget was the same as the overall budget, which I maybe not, but let's say if it was half.
Hypothetically, yes.
Hypothetically, let's say if it was half, that would be a 450 million, and then it made 660. Now, if it was the same cost as the budget, 300 million, that would be 600 million and only profited 68 million dollars. When it is the tentpole team of your franchise and it only makes 661 million dollars,
This
I
should have
think
did what
anything
Avengers did.
under a billion should be embarrassing when it's the tentpole.
Oh, for sure, and it is.
Of your entire universe.
How do you fail with this? You've got Superman, Batman, and the other classic ones. How do you fail with it?
But it did make its money back. Like it broke even, which would be considered a failure, of course, by the studio. But I can see your point too, where it's like
if
it
you put
made
in
its
$100
money
million
back.
into this,
If it made 200 million, that would have been like falling on your face, like holy shit, we are out of so much money. But at least they can say is, well, we can keep the lights on because we paid all the debt.
so
you know.
$300 million. Let's say they just on lowest end $100 million in marketing. So that's $400 million, and it took in 661. So that would mean that there's no way it even broke even. There's no way. Movies that have a $400 million budget attached to it would probably need to make $1 billion. Or maybe
Well, how much
$900
of that
million.
661 did they actually get?
Keep in mind, we
How
also
much of it goes to the
You need to keep
studio?
out- minus the 45% that art theaters take.
Yeah.
If you take 45% off that, that's way lower.
Charles is actually making a pretty good point in there. He's saying people forget The Dark Knight never crossed 1 billion.
The Dark Knight was $1
Damn.
billion, technically, if you count inflation.
I was gonna
Well,
say,
no,
like,
he's right. It's right though.
The Dark Knight Rises,
damn.
The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises hit $1 billion. I know The Dark Knight Rises was $1 billion higher.
But you also have to remember too, there is a factor in cost to make and overall. So like, if the Dark Knight only cost 150, $200 million to make, and then makes 900 million, well then
Shit.
that is
Fuck.
a massive
It's a pretty
thing,
big ball
massive
right there,
profit.
Mhm.
So it also depends on profit too. But when you're talking about the tentpole, the flagship of what should be your universe, of a
Yes.
joined universe, this is a massive flop.
Like this
know.
should have done what the Avengers did back in 2012. If they could come out, if Justice League can't bring you $1 billion, you did something wrong to build this up.
Now, it would have been better if it was 800, 900, kind of like what Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
did,
this
but
made less than Suicide Squad. If you keep,
Yeah, this was.
and it made
this-
less than Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Like that's like it might. I don't know. I just look at it as a complete failure. But I get from the surface level, it doesn't look that bad. But if you dig into it, like I dig into my wife's butthole last night, looks great. All right, that's it. Oh, all right.
Now,
Fucking failure.
DC, I understand, like, DC didn't have to do what Marvel did, because Marvel did 10 years of films to get to the crescendo of the Avengers, or no, of their deal. A bunch of movies to get to where you could do the first Avengers even. DC, all they had to do was stick to the Holy Trinity: a Superman movie, a Batman movie, and a Wonder Woman movie. You get the Holy Trinity out of the way, then you can pull off a Justice League movie because you're introducing Aquaman, Flash, and then Cyborg. But then instead, you get Zack Snyder's jumbled up mess, which I don't hold him as critically a fault, because DC fucked with him a lot. Like they essentially originally had him and Jim Lee plan out this multi-film universe.
Oh,
Then
Jeff
they
Johns.
said, huh?
You
Jeff
said-
Johns, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they turned that and said, well, no, just turn that into a trilogy or a set of films. And plus, with Snyder, like, the original cut of Justice League was 4 hours long. How do you make a 4-hour movie that's going to be turned into a 2-hour movie because the studio
Because
wants a
originally,
2-hour
remember,
movie?
it was supposed to be Justice League Part 1, Part 2, Part 3,
Oh,
and all
well,
that shit. Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Because the issue here is he was already filming Justice League when BVS came out, because they were trying to get these movies filmed and ready to go to keep up with
Yeah.
Marvel. That the fact that they didn't understand, hey, we should probably let the reception kind of hit first to see if there's actually any interest in this and to see what people kind of want next. What do you want to say, Gray?
Just, man, this is the Snyder problem. It has always been a problem. He is pretty good at directing other people's scripts, but man, you let him in on the writing, you let him in on the cinematography, and it is going to get weird.
Yeah.
I don't like the direction that goes, but man, like that original Dawn of the Dead, like 300, Watchmen, there were some cool things that he was able to pull off, but
I
man,
love Watchmen. I think that's a masterpiece.
Also, remember,
You know.
Zack Snyder, he was supposed to be their Kevin Feige. I don't know. And it's crazy. You always have to blend the studio more than him. They saw him direct Watchmen. You would know that's his style, or taking the style from Alan Moore's book.
Well,
That guy
he
couldn't
could do
make
it
different
well.
layered style superhero
If
movies.
they would have let him do it, DC said, yeah, we want him to be our Kevin Feige, but we're not going to give him any of the control. We're not going to give him any of the. Like,
I see what you're saying. Like, if you're gonna
yeah,
do it, let him fully do it.
let him do it. Like they're doing with James Gunn now. Now they're just like, here's money, go make us more of it. Now that's their philosophy now. And DC and Marvel's going through kind of like they start off with Feige, essentially Feige, Favreau, you guys do your stuff and make us money. After Endgame, they started getting more involved, and you start seeing Feige with a lot less power, and then it's now kind of like what they did to Snyder right off the bat. If they would have just said, "Here's money, Snyder, go make us movies," and we would have got to see his full vision played out, I don't think he would have. I think his execution would have ruined it in some aspects, but it would have been a lot better than what we got. What we got was a mess that had a lot to do with Warner Brothers as much as Zack Snyder.
So for me, and because people are gonna argue, well, why would you argue that Sam Raimi should be given as much freedom as Spider-Man 3, but you wouldn't argue for Zack Snyder? There's two different cases there. First of all,
that dude
Sam
has
Raimi,
earned it.
yes, that would be
Yeah.
yes, because he earned it with his first two superhero movies. That's just like a no-brainer. Second of all, he was going to do the same. He was going to give you the exact same thing you loved in the previous two. The studio literally told him to do something completely different. That's different. Zack Snyder, on the other hand, wanted to basically. He wanted certain things that I could understand why the studio said no. We can go back to BVS with that. In BVS, he was like, "Well, I wanted to release the extended cut." The studio said no because you get less screens the longer your movie is. So business is like, if your movie's this long, we can get more screens. With his extended cut, you would get less screens. That's understandable. And keep in mind, if you can't make a good superhero movie in 2 hours and 30 minutes, yeah, on that angle, I do kind of agree with the studio. That would cut into the box office, profit line. And keep in mind, they're already not making that much because they got to take up that 45%. Theater, all the cuts, as we've explained 1,000 times here. I would fully understand why they would interfere with that based on the fact of what he's doing. Keep in mind, he wants to release a 4-hour Justice League movie. Now, if you built that up like Endgame, I could somewhat understand the argument. Maybe I would give you it, but that's not what happened. Keep in mind,
That's why they needed to have That's why they needed to have more buildup. The reason why Civil War works and Avengers works is because
Mhm.
every single one of those characters has had movies to shine in. And so we know them. We care about them. We don't have to have figuring out who they are. Every one of Zack Snyder's, like, you have Man of Steel, which, the only the villain it introduces, they kill off. Then you have Batman versus Superman, where they're trying to introduce Lex Luthor, Batman, Alfred,
Mhm.
Gotham. All of this exposition tries to get introduced while trying to also film a movie. It's the same thing over and over again. It's like, if you want, the reason why Avengers works is because there's years of films behind it that all those characters don't need to be explained or introduced anymore. We know what's going on with Cap. We know what's going on with Iron Man, and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's the reason why those ones worked. And it's almost just like DC just didn't have someone who could just put the pieces together. It's like, why does Marvel work? Well, because Marvel builds a universe. You just don't just throw shit at every movie and then expect it to work. And
Because DC knew this though from their animated universe, not the
yeah,
one that the New 52 you guys like a lot. Now it has a lot of stingers in there too. The original one with Kevin Conroy's Batman, they built that up to lead into Justice League. At least two shows enough that you cared and loved it enough that you would give the Justice League show a chance. And Batman Beyond was, there too. Sorry about the notification if you guys heard that. But it's just one of these things where, like,
Notification?
oh, you guys didn't hear it? Oh, I got the notification that my wife was gonna bang me. Joking, joking. So, like,
Hmm.
I mean, all these super movies that made this much money, you keep in mind there's context to it too. There's marketing budgets, there's profitability, and there's the theater gets their cut. But the only one that's the one that's not, the one that was always surprising was Aquaman. I'd never thought in a million years Aquaman would, you know, make
That
a
first one
billion
was
dollars.
fun, man.
yeah.
It was different. I also wouldn't have thought the fish talker would make a billion, but it was different from those other ones. It wasn't as dark, and I think that's kind of what people were looking for out of a superhero at the time. So I don't know. I
All right,
dig it. I can see it. But
so Gray, what are your final
okay.
thoughts and opinions on these Marvel and DC superhero movies that made more money at the box office than you remember? Which one really stuck out to you?
Yeah, I guess it would be Suicide Squad. I remember it being a complete and utter flop, but man, to hear that it had like 850 behind it, damn. Good for them. I honestly thought that it was just a complete loss. I mean, it makes sense because they brought James Gunn back in to kind of reboot it, to do a different Suicide Squad one. Uh, so it makes sense that they would only do that if there was kind of financial reason to, and it looks like there was. That one didn't make it on this list. So I don't know, man. I guess good for them. I think most of these are deserved, and you can kind of see the mistakes that they made. There wasn't really one of them that we were all super surprised about. There was this kind of public, I guess Warren called it goodwill earlier, but they had this track record that made us actually want to trust them and see some of our favorite heroes on screen. But man, when they did things like Dark Phoenix or a lot of them on this list, yeah, it makes me see why we no longer are going out and like Warren today. That was the first time that he was able to see Brave New World or whatever. That makes sense. I'm assuming about a decade ago, you probably would have been in the theater right away for that.
Probably opening weekend.
You know what's crazy? Out of
Yeah,
all those movies, based on what Gray said, and I agree, you would be there opening night, and it wasn't even a question.
Yeah.
You dropped everything because even if it was, people also have to consider it was the newest hottest thing, so you were gonna do it regardless. But you were in that kind of phase so much that you were gonna be there regardless. But now it's as you mentioned, Brave New World. Well, no one was there because everyone was like, "Fuck this." Warren, what your final thoughts and opinions on this? Which one kind of stood out to you that made more money than you thought? That was dog shit. All those movies were bad. Those are bad movies right
Yeah.
there.
Well, I remember when those films came out. I think the most surprising to me was Spider-Man 3 when that first came out, because we were coming off of 2, and this was, I don't remember there being much studio talk. There was no. It was essentially, coming out, and everyone was kind of excited about it. Then, but with the other ones on the list, it was just like, I remember hearing about the problems of the studio. You had Brie Larson's hate of the fans. You had the studio interference that was going all over the place with the Snyderverse. So it just shows you on how much there was a time period where it was like, if it was superheroes, we were all excited, and then you get to the film and it just turns into crap. I mean, Suicide Squad sounded better on paper than what we got. Iron Man 3, that was the biggest, like that was almost like it was catfishing fans. It was telling you that this is going to be a cool ass movie with Iron Man and the Mandarin, and we got this famous actor to play that Mandarin, and he's sounding awesome. It's going to be so cool. And then it was just like, you get there, and it's a dude, and you're just like, whoa, wait a minute, what? You're not Michelle. What is this? So yeah, it just felt more like a catfish. So it was interesting going through this, because it was just shows like the downfall of these franchises, and how the studio interference, and how easy and how, when you start messing with the creatives, you start getting crap, and the amount of goodwill that you've lost, and the amount of hype that you've lost now you're putting out movies that are better than some of these on these lists, and they're not getting nearly the amount of money. Like Thunderbolts is a better movie than most of the ones like on this list.
Yeah,
And
that's
you know what I
sad.
mean? And it's like, it's not even close. It's probably going to be like a $400 million movie. So then that makes me wonder how much of this is going to be affecting Fantastic Four. How much is this going to affect Superman?
That's the same thing that I said when I was talking to Dingus in that last video me and him did together for Monday's show, which was, if you're looking at Brave New World and Thunderbolts' box office numbers, and they just cap out and peak at $400 million, is this a profitable, worthwhile venture for Marvel to keep pumping out these movies if they're only going to be making like minus $500 million? That means, based on what you just said, Fantastic Four shouldn't be getting gangbusters at the box office. It should only be peaking out at less than $500 million, which would still be a loss to the studio. And it goes to show you that in that time period, people were in a much different mindset and much more different optimism for the studio and Marvel and DC to the point where random stuff would come out and you'd be like, you know what? I will at least give it a chance, and I will be there opening weekend because this has did me some good in my life to the point where I like this kind of genre. And now it's at the point where you hate the very fucking guts that you hate its gut. It's like when you find out your wife never loved the touch of you. She hated fucking sleeping with you. She hated looking at you in the morning, and she hated the very touch of you. You know, it's horrible.
Exactly.
But damn, for me, the one that really struggled that's terrible. God, that Suicide Squad movie. I know Captain Marvel's success was luck, but that's kind of what Marvel built for it to have that luck success. Suicide Squad should have never had it. James Gunn's movie deserved way more money than that Studio Squad movie did. That's why the name of it was Studio Squad, because they hired the trailer company to chop it up. Oh God, fucking. Goodness gracious. We'll have to do this with Marvel and DC superhero movies that made less money than you remember, and they're like decent movies. Crazy. But yeah, thank you guys for checking out this video. If you guys are returning viewers or new viewers, then please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below. Also, make sure you guys hit the notification bell. That way you guys can get notified on whenever I upload a brand new video or go live. I am MSK, aka Master Swag King, and we're gonna sign out, guys. See you guys later. Peace. Wow, that was an awesome video. Damn. Good lord. I'm gonna have to look up the one for the let me see. Marvel and DC superhero. Oh, hold on. Why don't I just copy and paste this? Why am I typing? I can't read. I'm black.
So
Wait, you
for
know how to copy and
July,
paste?
Jurassic Park comes out on the 2nd.
Yep.
Superman comes out on the 11th, and then Fantastic Four doesn't come out until the 24th.
25th.
So 25th. So that means Superman will get 2 weekends of no competition, depending on how well Jurassic Park does. But Jurassic Park only gets what on the 4th. So yeah, 1 week before Superman comes out. So it'll
Yeah,
be
and
interesting to see.
Superman, those 2 weeks it'll still be competing with the dinosaur movie.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. We'll see. It's gonna be a tight and also like June 20th is like 28 years later. There's some interesting ones like with Final Destination at least coming in first this one. They might get a weekend out of it, but
yeah.
we'll see. July is going to be a very expensive month.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how well the films do. Like I honestly would have moved Superman to August, but I don't know. Like I don't I wouldn't want as I would want the least amount of competition as possible, just because I don't know if the studios are factoring in the bad faith or the loss of will as much as we are. So I mean they have to be.
Oh, big money over there. Kids love their dinosaurs.
Because just for Superman, it's like even maybe a June release even too. I don't know, but
I think based off what you said about Marvel, I don't think Fantastic Four matters. If we're going just based
it
off
does,
the recent
man.
numbers, you don't. I don't know, man.
It's no
I think
Fan Four stick we're talking about here. This
Okay.
is Fantastic Four. It's different.
it has America's favorite actor,
Wow.
Pablo
Yep,
Pedro.
Mr. Pedro going out of his way to politically divide the audience, talking about illegal immigration and Looney Tunes. What a fucking weirdo,
Charles
man.
is saying August is bad, but come on, man.
August is bad based off the fact that kids go back
August
to school.
1st, The Naked Gun gets released. Who isn't looking forward to a spoof
That will probably
comedy
bomb, Greg.
in the year 2025? Come on. It's ripe for spoof comedies.
Isn't most comedy movies dead at the cinemas at this
This
point?
is a
that's
Seth
the
MacFarlane.
point.
Yeah, this is a Seth MacFarlane movie too. So we'll see how well it goes.
It's no Ted. It's Naked Gun. I would have said put out Superman in June too. But then again, the only real competition, in my opinion, based off the numbers that we've seen from the last 2 Marvel movies, I don't think Fantastic Four is gonna. I just don't think so. It'll have a good opening weekend, but I don't think it'll matter in the grand scheme of things. I think the only competition it really has is Jurassic Park 7, in my opinion.
You're looking at this all wrong, though. Everybody's going to be re-enthused about superhero movies. We just got Superman. Hope exists again. Hey, what do you mean this new Marvel one is coming out?
Are you saying that Superman's effect is that he's going to inspire hope for people to go see Fantastic Four?
Oh, yeah. That's my prediction. Come on, man. How could you not think that Fantastic Four is going to do some real business this year?
Based off the last 2 ones, I can't believe it'll do well.
But this is a real one. Those were like, test superhero movies.
And there's more hype around Fantastic Four than there was around Thunderbolts.
A little bit more, I'll say.
There's a little bit more. It's still not as much hype as it probably should be, but that's also Marvel's is on a downward turn now. So even the stuff that they do is okay is not doing that well. It's doing well enough to pay itself off though. Like they're breaking even essentially, which is a failure to studios, but it's going to keep them more films coming out. I want to know how much, like if Doom is a disaster, like a $600 million movie, will Marvel talk about a full reboot, or does Marvel start getting worried and start going the route of possibly? Yeah, like when does it like, okay, Kevin Feige gets fired? When is it do we get a new head of Marvel? And
the reason why I think that never happen is specifically because all the past goodwill is going to basically earn him a spot for life. He would essentially
Will is good.
I mean, he would essentially debatably, in my opinion, have to put out like 20 flops in a row, and even after that, I don't think they're gonna fucking kick him
Well,
out. If he's gonna be
honestly,
kicked
I
out
I don't know,
thought
man.
now.
I wouldn't be
I think
surprised
Warren
if
has a point.
Feige goes to Star Wars, honestly. But yeah,
I think Warren has a really good point, though. If they do screw up one of these Avengers ones, I could see them really wanting to restructure. It looks like they tried to, kind of pull up, but I'm not sure if that has worked yet. But man, if these future Avengers ones don't work, I could see him getting kicked out. But
yeah, I
we'll
could
see.
see some big changes coming because they're losing money. So it's they're even with the films that break even. In technically, even business wise, you're not. It's not. That's not good.
No, that's not what you're
Um,
doing in it for.
yeah. So it's going to be how many like they've only had what like it's just Marvel financial successes was what Guardians 3 and Deadpool. That's a lot
I
of
think
Yeah.
so, and I
failures.
think Deadpool's split. I don't think that's
Yeah.
all Disney.
Also, keep in mind,
Well,
Spider-Man was definitely
it's
split with two. Like, so Sony gets to
well,
keep more of the box office. Disney has the
yeah.
toy sales. So
Disney though owns Fox, so I don't think there was any split on that one. So
Oh,
because it
fair
was a
enough. I keep
yeah,
forgetting that.
yeah,
I just
they
know it was
bought
in production
Fox.
before it went to Disney.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
Charles points out another good point. Like they have abandoned franchises before. There was a lot of money invested in John Carter,
it
and
was.
just
I remember
man,
that.
with that opening, that sucks. That's one that could have been really cool. I didn't hate that flick, but
yeah,
nobody went to see it.
yeah. I don't know why that movie was better than what the hate it got, but I mean, I can understand. I don't know why people just what caused people not to go see that one. That was
That
kind of
was one of the movies
interesting.
I did watch in the theater. I'll be honest here, I don't remember it that much. I don't remember loving it or hating it. I remember it was just being kind of meh. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'll have to go rewatch it. I haven't seen it since 2011 it came out, I think. That's a long time ago. Holy fuck.
Oh, you don't
but
have
yeah,
an annual
you,
reviewing of it? Come on, man.
you can make a lot of money when your IP has a lot of hype around it. You just can't screw it up because you'll ruin that character's IP, that IP's hype. Like Snow White is ruined for Disney right now, so they're gonna have to
Probably.
they're gonna have to do something to try to reboot that hype. But as of right now, the hype for that character is pretty much dead. They're starting to lose. They've lost a lot of goodwill and hype with their Marvel IPs, and Star Wars is circling the drain. And really,
Man, which
if
sucks.
Mandalorian
Andor 2
sucks,
is so good. Like,
well, yeah,
man, it's really kind of like a Penguin situation where it's making like the original just seem so much better. Man, I liked Rogue One before, but after adding Andor, and still, it doesn't seem like that's really got their viewership up. Like they have lost all the goodwill, and
yeah.
Will is good, but man, have they lost all their goodwill in this? Just
That's what
it
happens with these
sucks.
franchises, where if you lose all the goodwill, and that mostly comes from the quality of the product, most of the time, debatably speaking. Like if you put out enough bad product in a row, if the vast majority of people do see it as bad, they're just gonna check out. That's just how. I don't get why that's such a foreign concept to people. That's how most franchises work. If you put out 8 bad Halloween movies in a row, which they did, people checked out. People did not care. It's just how it works. I don't know why people think it's different for superhero movies. Why would the same rules not apply in a
Well,
different genre?
and here's something that's interesting that could happen too. So let's say Superman comes around and it's $1 billion movie, and everyone's just like, DC is back, Superman's
DC's black.
back. This is awesome.
It's my prediction.
If this happens, it's going to make Disney executives look really hard about, okay, the way DC got over its goodwill problem was an entire restructuring, reboot, new names. That might be a straw that we start seeing, not with Marvel because they've got Doomsday coming. Avengers Doomsday would have to fail before they would be really considering it. But with Star Wars, if The Mandalorian doesn't do good, you might see a massive restructuring with and reboot of that. Um, if DC starts doing good, like if the films are a hit, like Supergirl's good, a Lobo spinoff, Clayface is good. If all this stuff hits, you might see even it fast track at Disney where they start changing who's in charge here, who's in charge there. They might shuffle around people. I still think Kevin Feige might end up over in Lucasfilm, because that's one good way to let him save some face. It's like, hey, it's not your fault that's doing bad. Let's give you some fresh new IPs to play with. Here's Kathleen Kennedy's fucking mess. Try to clean this shit up. But so it'll be interesting to see how this stuff plays out, because really the future of a lot of these franchises, DC and Marvel, are down to these next couple of films in the next couple of years. Like, Marvel has to have some hits.
No. Doomsday and Secret Wars are basically what we call in sports make or break, clutch time. It's clutch time now. These last 3 movies could be what salvages the rest of the fans you even currently have that are still surprisingly giving you money, or you just completely just turn everyone off.
They should be gimmies, though. Like, if the past is anything, okay, these Avengers ones, they might have, not success in between, but man, these Avengers ones go, and I don't know that they can bank on that anymore. I think there would be a huge shakeup, like Warren was saying, if one of these was a flop.
Oh,
I can't see it happening, man. I think no matter what, the people will shell out for one of those Avengers ones.
No. That's what I said earlier.
It'll do well,
Avengers
but I don't think it'll
people.
flop.
Yeah, I think just by name alone, casuals will just see Avengers. And keep in mind, for those Avengers trailers, they're going to make the views on them are going to be insane. You're talking about some of the most highest view trailers probably ever.
Oh,
going to happen.
They're throwing the kitchen sink at this movie too, with nostalgia, RDJ, Russo brothers. So I think that this movie is like a Suicide Squad kind of failure, where it's like, if it could make like $700 million, and DC would be like, well, it should have been 1 point whatever billion, because that's like
I'll say this right now. I'll say right now, if Doomsday or Secret Wars don't do $1 billion like the other 4 of them did, it just goes to show you just how much damage they did to their own brand.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the kitchen, like you said, this is make or break. This is the kitchen sink. This is we're throwing we're bringing
they're going to put
Fox,
in minimum
X-Men. We're bringing Gambit in. Like, if you liked it at all in the last 10 years, we're going to throw that shit in there, because we need money and we need to be saved right now. So,
at the very minimum, they're putting in $300 million budgets minimum for them both, guaranteed.
Yeah, but I think you're guaranteed like double that in the box office as a minimum. Yeah. Like, even they're not so successful ones now have that, and there's no way this would be less than that, even if it's the worst movie ever.
This is $600 million easy, just off of hype,
But here's a weird question for you: if it wasn't for Disney Plus, I don't know. Do you think there would be this bad will? I think
the Disney Plus shows did do a bad job on them. Yeah, I definitely heard.
I mean, you look at some of them though, like Mandalorian. If that was a movie when it first came out, I think that would be a success. Again, like, you're looking at these high grossing, just like all of the other Disney Star Wars ones. But man, the will is just forgotten, because now they have all these other ones, and you've got
non-will. Too much will.
And I think Marvel is much of the same. Like, okay, so you went from this plethora of all these weird TV shows that people don't necessarily like all of, and you need to have watched all of them, to then these films that are just kind of middling afterwards. But again, if you just had like a Loki movie, I think that would have made a bunch of money. I think there's a bunch of these shows that you could have turned into a single one, and I think the goodwill would still be there.
I agree. I think that I agree. I think that they would have made more money and did way less damage if Disney Plus was not a factor. And I think Star Wars really suffered from the Disney Plus TV show push. But I agree with you 100%. I think Loki would have been a better movie. I think the Scarlet Witch Vision saga with Agatha, those would have been much better movies. I agree with you. Yeah, it's the Disney Plus factor, and their push for that was really what kind of drove a lot of this rushed type stuff, where they're filming as they're writing scripts, and trying to, you can't do a massively connected universe that's supposed to set up and help your films when you're not even giving time to write scripts. It's yeah. So I agree with you. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think also, as I said earlier, I don't think Fantastic Four should be in their minds as a direct. I mean, it's competitor because it's just Marvel. That's their direct rival. But as far as like recent, events with the MCU, I mean, Jurassic Park is just going to do well because it's just Jurassic Park at this point. I mean, if I think that'll be the first $1 billion movie of 2025, or probably the only $1 billion movie, honestly, depending on what you think comes out. I mean, Minecraft, did it make $1 billion? No, I don't think it did. It took
So
in like 930 or something like that.
you don't have any faith in Life of Chuck,
Or friendship.
yeah. Hey, Friendship is actually possibly A24's highest grossing per screen.
Oh, nice.
The first weekend they made like 75 grand per screen, but it was only on like 6 screens.
Oh,
So it's still not making that much, but it's like, I don't know, that's pretty cool.
oh, I think Lilo
Minecraft's $8 away from $1 billion. That's fucking great.
Oh yeah.
I thought
Sorry,
Lilo
Warren
and
took it
Stitch
right
was
out of my
big.
mouth.
Yeah,
I think
thought
that
Lilo-
one's going to be $1 billion one.
Yeah, I think Lilo and Stitch will be $1 billion.
Lilo and Stitch, yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
But sounds like Minecraft's going to beat it though.
What do you guys think about Lilo and Stitch? It was revealed they're not going to have the main villain, the big giant alien guy that's hunting him. He's not going to be in it.
Who's hunting them?
Huh.
Then?
Apparently, it's
I
just
mean,
Bubble.
Cobra Bubbles.
Oh, okay.
It's like, what?
Why?
Why?
I mean,
I don't get
There's
it.
got to be aliens though. Like it shows him being whatever interviewed by the aliens, and then he escapes. Aliens are still going to be in it.
I
I'm
know, but
sorry.
the
they're
main
gonna be
alien
aliens.
that's hunting him.
I got
forget
you.
his name.
I got you. The main guy's not going to be there, but I think you could do it without a main.
That kind of is.
alien guy.
I would. Fucking Disney, man.
It's still diverse. There's other aliens.
Yeah,
It's a random thing though. Why? I just don't get it. It's just so.
well, sometimes you want to diversify the live action from the film, so you're just not doing a straight up copy. And whatever they add in there might be good too. Like I have not heard anything negative about the films, so it's if anything, it's they're doing a really good job with these really adorable campaign ads, and I guess they've got stuff set up at movie theaters where it's like a popcorn bucket, and then all of a sudden, an animatronic Stitch pops out of it and starts talking and shit. So yeah, I think it's going to be $1 billion film, but I didn't know they were taking out the main bad guy. But they're probably going to replace it with somebody.
I guarantee maybe it's a marketing thing where they'll introduce him in a post-credit scene. But why? Because unless they generally think this is going to be $1 billion hit, they probably think, okay, we'll just maybe use it for the second movie. Unless that's not the mindset, then that's stupid in my opinion. That's just dumb. It's like doing, I don't know, man. It's like doing a Cinderella movie without the freaking stepmother being the main villain. You know?
Oh, I think How to Train could be $1 billion film too. Depends.
Could
on
be. Yeah. But no, Minecraft is at 930 right now. But that was a box office surprise. Like no one thought that was going to be doing as well as it is. But it did very well. It did do very.
Come on, dude. Everyone knew it. It's Napoleon Dynamite and the chicken jockey thing. Like, come on, it's gonna
chicken
make
jockey. Can't believe I'm not in that generation. I don't know what is hype about that. It's like that whole new thing of like skitty toilet. Like, what is that?
That is a master class though in making a film for your target audience and having your target audience love it. Like that film looks stupid to everybody who is like over.
Anybody that's literally not 9 years old.
Yeah,
think that looks stupid.
The 9-year-olds went ape shit for it, and they went to go watch it, and they went to go watch it multiple times with their parents and their siblings, and yeah, it was. I congratulate it because I thought it looked like trash. I'm not gonna go watch this trailer. Is terrible. Like this felt like one of those weird trailers like for Minecraft 2, coming soon, like not a movie. And but yeah, you got to give it its credit though, because it had a target audience and it sold to them, and it's heading straight to the $1 billion.
deserved.
It's true. It's man. But as long as the Minion movies can keep making money, then my life is good. Honestly, I love my yellow banana dildos.
You're gonna see the live action minions and all Steve Carell's still kicking around. He can play Gru in live action.
Oh goodness gracious! Ballerina's coming out. Definitely watching that. Definitely gonna give my baby Ana de Armas some time. Oh my god, what is this? So many. It's not OnlyFans. What the heck? On what the heck is this?
You advertising your OnlyFans on the stream now?
It's just a terrible website. What the hell?
Make sure you check out OnlyFans/MSK.
I'm not. Just this girl is just she's not doing
Will instantly be
OnlyFans.
banned from the site.
She's doing risque content as she's. What the heck?
Well, I'm really looking forward to November 7th because there's a bunch of really cool things that are coming out on that day. Begonia, which is this weird, I think it's the Yorgos Lanthimos one. Predator Badlands and The Running Man are all coming out on the exact same day.
That's
So
gonna be a good weekend.
I'm hyped for that one. Yeah, that is my weekend to just be in the cinema, I guess.
I'm excited for Badlands. That looks really good.
Yeah, I hope it's as good as now I'm forgetting the other one, but
Prey.
Prey, thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted to just call it The Predator, and I was like, no, that's the other one. Yeah, Prey. I really was not expecting much out of that one, but I kind of want to see what this guy can do with this, especially with the weird teaser trailer that they put out. I really want to see that one.
And it's going to be on the Predator's homeworld, so I am extremely excited for that.
Yeah, and I think they're not jerking them around this time. I think they are releasing it directly to theater, not that weird kind of Hulu thing.
This one's going right to theater.
Yeah, keep in mind they only dropped it on Hulu because fucking the Predator reception and box office was yikes.
I think it would have done decent in the theaters, and I think more people would have seen it.
But that was
maybe I'm completely wrong.
2022. Was that 2022? I think
that was the COVID era, I believe. So
I think,
I
Prey
don't
came out.
enough.
I'm pretty sure Prey came out 2022. I'm pretty sure it did.
It gets hazy for me, so that could totally be me talking out of my ass. Then I wish COVID wasn't a thing and we could have seen that one in theaters. I think it would have been remembered a lot more fondly.
It's so crazy that the movie they chose to throw directly to streaming is the one that was kind of like, oh, people were like, oh, this is pretty good. Damn.
I'm really excited.
I mean, you could see what happened on the screen.
I'm really excited for that animated Predator movie they're doing too. With it has essentially the Predator in 3 different eras. The Predator ship versus World War II fighter pilots. Predator in a Viking era and Predator in a samurai era, and it's all put together by the same guy who did Badlands and Prey. So that's going to be really interesting. And Badlands has a Wayland Core android in it, so that this will be the first attachment of aliens and predators in this new Romulus history now. So they're already planning to bring in a real predator versus alien type deal. So they're starting to set that up. I think this guy will do it right. This guy seems to have a lot better scope and control of idea of Predator and doing a lot better stuff than that AVP terrible crap we got, or that Shane Black Predator.
Man.
I think.
I love me some Shane Black, but there's a couple of his that we've talked about today that I just wish hit a little bit harder.
Loved it Black.
Shane Black, that is. Yeah, man.
Kiss,
kiss,
like
bang, bang. And I'm just saying, like, yeah, I do like my coffee black, but then with a splash
just like
of milk.
Women.
Yeah, again with a splash of milk is how I like my women.
Oh no! So you like light-skinned black women? Okay, now we finally figured out what his wife's race is.
Dude, Halle Berry is peak.
I hate you. So, yeah, we had a great show tonight. Obviously, me carrying it, just like Kobe Bryant on the Lakers back in the 2000s. Obviously,
yeah, it didn't quite work. So instead, Warren and I showed up, and we got this thing off the ground.
the show up and carried it where we needed
Yeah,
to.
we lifted
God.
you, kind of like a palanquin.
Uh, I have to carry you guys every stream, so it's good. It helps me kind of work on myself and be like, okay, what do I got to bring to the table the next time to see like what we're gonna do?
Do you even have a
Gray,
table?
I
Oh,
have a
sorry.
lot of
Yes.
things. Gray, would you like to put some mustard up my ass? Joking, obviously. Gray,
No.
any thing you're working on that you would like to let the audience know about?
Yeah, new show real soon. I thought I was gonna premiere it this week, but I'm guessing it's probably not going to premiere this month, so it'll probably be
Said
the
that
first week
last
of
week.
June. Yeah, I did say that. I said that last month too. But it's a real thing. I swear it's coming real soon. Graphics to be determined. But yeah, if you just can't get enough of me, tomorrow night on YouTube at That Darn Kidda, there is The Thinkers. It happens every Thursday night. It's a bunch of people from like 3 different countries that get together, disagree about everything, usually leave amicably, sometimes not. These last few times not. But I think we're talking about sort of platforming, I guess, in a way, and sort of free speech. I guess there's some opinions that, maybe some arguments should just be cut off, like flat Earth ones or so. I'm in the other opinion that, who gets to decide what arguments can't be made? Let's just show people how dumb they are. That's why I show up here and appear on the MSK show. But yeah, that's all I got going on. If that sounds fun, go over to YouTube at That Darn Kidda. Warren, what do you have going on, sir?
I've got my premiere of my live draw stream coming up this Sunday. So check me out on my YouTube channel. I'll be going live at 8 o'clock p.m. on Sunday. And it'll just going to be, I'll be working on issue 4 of my comic book. And I'll be just discussing and talking about my process and how I'm making pages and how I set up stuff along those lines. And if people come on, and feel free to ask me questions, then we can talk about other things. Talk about in more particular parts of the artwork. But yeah, it's going to be a very artwork focused show. I want to bring on other artists, and I want to talk about process and talk about creating interiors for comics and sequentials along those lines. So yeah, that'll be starting up here coming up this Sunday. So just subscribe to me and you'll get the alert. And I hope to be doing this every single Sunday and having a lot of fun.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
I'm just saying, artists are weird people. They can't conversate. They not normal, dude. Artists, I talked to them. They're weird.
I'm gonna have to bring it out of them with all the skills that I learned from carrying your show.
Oh no!
No, Lunchbox Warren is amazing at hosting a show now because he has to do it on your channel all the time, MSK.
Yes,
So much
I'm just saying.
Well, as you guys know, I'll be streaming League of Legends tomorrow. Then I have the Cloud9 podcast with Chaz, and then depending on how I feel, we'll have this show with Lunchbox Warren. But if not, we'll just do it Friday, obviously. Something I don't want to stream on Thursdays after the Cloud9 podcast is like, do I want to just apply that many streams to my only day off before the weekend? So after League Cloud9 podcast, then you have Friday we have our show. Saturday 1-on-1 with Lenore. Then Cloud9 podcast on Sunday. Hopefully, if we're not dead, If not, then we'll try to make it happen on Saturday, if we can make it happen. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show, and we will see you guys later. Have a great week, everybody. Goodbye.